Alright, everybody. Welcome back to Bronze to GM, and we're in Diamond 1. We have a whole lot of changes today, and we're going to be talking about those at the end of the game. For now, let's talk about the build. We're playing a Zerg versus... Oh, this is Zerg versus Zerg, in fact. Interesting. Okay, I thought we were playing a Zerg versus Protoss. This player's a little below Diamond 1. We got a match against someone a bit lower than us to start off. And there haven't been too many changes, really, for Zerg vs. Zerg. The main changes today are going to be ZVT and ZVP, which we are really changing things up in. Now, some of you might be wondering, hey, are we seriously still drone scouting, Pig? What's going on? Masters is when we're going to stop doing that. Diamond, I think we're still going to stick with the drone scout, even though we're at a level where obviously we can probably defend cheeses without Overlord scouting and just reacting really well. Don't get me wrong, you could still die to it. At pro level, people die every day to proxy barracks, proxy gateways even get the occasional win. So it's not a bad idea to do a bit of scouting. Now, we accidentally built one extra drone there. We've got to remember, guys, it's meant to be 17 pool after the hatch first, because we are doing our gasless opening. I was talking to Sarah the other day. He said, gasless opening? What do you... No one does that anymore. He's like, no, it's so bad, man. I always like pro gamers' strong opinions. He said, you know, last map pool with Moon Dance and stuff where you could get a free base in the back, sure, but this map pool, no one does that at the moment. So it's not really in the meta, but the moment you get some short rush distances, some small ramps, or some free bases in the back, it'll be right back in the meta almost immediately. So, yeah. All right, guys, that looks like a normal build. Hatch gas pool. I don't know why my drone's hanging around. Let's just bring that home. That probably should have been an Overlord, but that's okay. Next Overlord will go to the very center of the map. Sorry, actually, we don't have one outside. So we're going to have two Overlords outside his base. This guy can go there. This guy can go up the top side. So we've got two outside. Two Queens. We're going to build just two Zerglings, which I'll try to go in for a scout. And what are we doing? Drones? Drones. After droning, we're going to build more drones. Then we'll build some more drones. After that, we're going to build a few more drones. Now, this map, I think, is one where you can actually really struggle to wall off. And we haven't actually played a lot of Zerg vs. Zerg on this map. So I am a little worried. We just built an Overlord, by the way, on 29. It's meant to be 28, but it'll do. And we're going to start a third Queen immediately as well, because that's what we do with this build, don't we? All right, guys, inject. And at 36 supply, we're meant to go double gas and a spine crawler. There we go. You know what? I actually think the creep does reach the ramp, so that's all right. So we're just going to send the lings. Notice I've queued them to go around just for a loop-de-loop. And what you can see is there's no wavy lines above the spawning pool. That means ling speed hasn't started, which means I don't need to be worried about any aggression. However, there's a quick Evo chamber wobbling, so that's what we need to be worried about. Inject, build drones. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're actually going to cancel the spine crawler. And you might be wondering, well, why? Why are you canceling the spine? And the reason is very simple. If he doesn't have ling speed, he can't be aggressive. So we're starting to add in some high-level reactions now that we are third gas and layer at 100 gas, by the way. Now that we are in Diamond 1, we're starting to actually go, hey, I understand what's happening in a game of StarCraft. How cool is that? I can actually react to things and do fancy stuff. Inject. 3 guys on gas, 3 guys there. Oops, Overlords on the edges. A little bit late on that. It's all right. We're going to get +1 range. He's moving out to take a third right now. And he's going to be going upgraded Zerglings, right? A big wave of upgraded Zerglings, no doubt. As these Overlords pop, we just get on 2 more drones for our natural. We can build 3 more, get that up to 41. Let me build a few more roaches. Cool. So we're just going to commit to the push. The difference that we wanted to be doing as we get better at this is we want to be trying to drone up our third as we move out. Now, he's already coming with a lot of Zerglings, guys. But I don't think it's enough to matter because we have roaches. So if we can actually convince him to commit, that would be great. Notice I'm swapping queens because this one has transfuse energy. And I'm like, please waste some units attacking that wall off. I would absolutely adore that. Lots more Overlords on the way, just putting them in the back. And here we go, roaches coming forward. Oh, we don't quite have transfuse actually, but that's okay. Just getting him to waste money is great. So there we go, guys. +1 in roach speed will be finishing in about a minute. Just going to keep massing roaches for now. And, I mean, the build is kind of decided before the game even started, right? So Super easy here. Now, one thing we're noticing is that I only had 2 workers on gas. I was going to say, the gas should be lining up better than this, so we've made a mistake in our build and we need to figure out what it was. And I think you guys can see what that is now. Oh, notice we just pull back to the mineral line. I'm hold positioning those guys now. And even though the banelings did some good damage, overall, very happy with this trade because we were in a choke point. That's a general safe space, guys. And because he's made banelings, he's committed a crazy amount to this. As long as our queen's ready to go in our wall, if I ever see those red dots on the minimap going south or north around my attack, that's where we start to make sure this queen has to be walled off, okay? We can even have a drone on standby, so that's on wall duty, okay? So we're going to wall that off right now. We've got a big ball of roaches here. Roach speed's almost ready. And those guys are going to attack the third. Inject. Now, I would be droning the third here, but why are we not doing that, guys? Really obvious reason. It's because we know that he's going to base trade, right? Oh, these roaches are all derping out because I was moving across the map. So what we're going to do, we're going to put these guys on a separate key. Alt 3, okay? So those guys fighting there and everything at home doing this. We're going to transfuse our roach horn to keep that alive, as well as drop a reserve one in case. And then these guys are going to go over here. We're going to F2 everything back on the same army key. And these guys, notice the micros, we're trying to get on top of the roaches that are rallying out. He played actually a really good game. I really like the way he did heavy pressure droned behind it. Because the fact is, his fights failed really badly, but he had a decent amount of units, economy, and queens and stuff out behind it. So if I was a little bit indecisive, I think my opponent definitely could have actually, really just by doing a lot of stuff, gotten way ahead. The downside is obviously everything failed. In terms of direct combat, everything failed terribly for what Symptoms was doing. Symptoms also messed their wall up. That's a double space wall. So just a heads up, guys, that roach horn should be down into the left one space. That could put the Evo chamber down into the left one space, and then you'd have a nice single space queen gap. Essentially, though, the build we're doing shuts down any sort of Ling Bane pressure super duper hard. So our opponent needs to either go really all in really early, or they with Ling Bane, or they need to go very greedy and maybe skip things like a Baneling Nest, which is not necessary versus Roach Tech. Both of those could be reactions to the fact that, hey, we're just playing gasless. We don't have any aggressive options, right? Same thing I saw from my opponent. Now, I knew there was going to be Lings, I just knew they were delayed by about a minute and a half because they wanted to go for a Ling upgrade before going for Ling speed, which is incredibly expensive. So even though my opponent had a pretty tight opening in terms of like droning up 2 bases and this sort of stuff, they way overcommit to the Banelings, the Baneling Nest. Whereas if they just built a handful of Lings to deny a third, and already had extra hatcheries on the way, they could definitely fight me with Mass Zergling. Mass Zergling is not bad. If someone commits well to Mass Upgraded Zergling, they can beat Mass Roach, but the Mass Roach player can add a few Banelings. That's something we actually learnt, was it last week? I think it was last week. We had a ZVZ game, I remember. ZVZ versus Mass Upgraded Ling. And we kind of said, hey, we want to be highly aggressive or just very turtly. Don't get caught in the middle, which is what happened to me. And I had to play this crazy advanced game where I showed you guys like lurkers and vipers and all this advanced stuff that is not expected of a Diamond 2 player. But we realized that if you are being aggressive versus someone who's just massing Zerglings with roaches, just add a Baneling Nest, add a handful of Banelings, and the Zerglings that need to clump up and surround the roaches to be effective are suddenly absolutely worthless. But yeah, this was basically stock standard build order, guys. The only difference to the build is I cancelled the Spine Crawler upon scouting with my Zerglings, and my Lings scouted a little bit better. Looks like I just only put 2 workers on gas to begin with this game. I don't think I pulled off or anything. So yeah, it just looks like I messed up at the start, only putting 2 on there. Big mistake. Okie dokie, guys. Playing another Zerg vs. Zerg for our second game here in Diamond League. And guess what? It's against Bullia. Now, we played against Bullia's Terran, I believe, or Protoss, actually, last week. And his Zerg is his main race, and it's Diamond 1, so it's going to be a more challenging match. Now, what's changed in Zerg vs. Zerg is very little, except that as we're going for that 2-base roach push, we're going to be basically droning up our third, and we want to do a 52 drone 4 gas timing as a follow-up. Whereas up to this point, it's almost always been... Oh my god, I built to 19 drones. Sorry guys, this 40 pulls a few seconds late. That's a very greedy build. We see hatch first from our opponent, so it's all good. This guy can go here. So we'll go, yeah, we'll get a few of these drones can just kind of long distance mine or from the natural, since we've already got a few workers that are going to be stacking up. And notice I'm just trying to stack those there so they don't bounce around, because these are already far away patches. That's some of the best value mining you're going to be getting, and that'll be fine. And there we go. I could also stack them on these patches as well, but I've got to pull these off and move them to the natural when the pool's done. So I'd rather just let them long distance mine for a moment. We'll build another overlord here, guys. That's going to sit out front. This guy can go over there. That can go in and then out. We're in and we're out. There we go. 2 Zerglings, which I'll queue to go straight into the back of the base for a scout. And remember, guys, we can pull those 2 workers off. Send them to the natural. We're going to build another overlord immediately. Remember, 28 supply, and we send that to the middle of the map. So we have 2 outside their base, 1 outside our base, and 1 in the middle of the map. That is your classic Zerg versus Zerg setup. We want to have that vision. Okay, so 3rd base there or 3rd base at the front. I think probably take the 3rd base at the front, guys, when we push out. But that is a little while away. And remember, we can actually change this rally point back to the main a little bit earlier. Let's build a 3rd queen as well. And let's see if we can get these lings in for a scout, hey? So we see 4 lings, but we see a drone coming down. What does that mean? It means he's just built that drone. It means he's producing economy rather than fighting units. We can take the double gas and build the spine crawler. And we're just looking what's popping out of these eggs, guys. And he's going for an Evo chamber. So an Evo chamber, that is a sign of greed, right? Because that doesn't lead to anything aggressive. Seems like a pretty normal build. Nothing here to stress us out. More drones. Put guys on gas. I really like this. Let's build overlords. Put them on the left. Put them on the right. Spread a creep tumor out. It's 3:30. So what do we do at 3:30? You guys know what we do. We build a wall. And then we put the queen in the wall. Now, I saw ling speed upgrading with the wobbly lines on the pool. Guys, what do we go? 100 gas. Lair, 3rd gas. Very important for that. Inject, inject. Build 3 drones. Right click on the gas. Build more drones. And this is just such a smooth build order. Now, we did see some lings hiding, so we don't want to go too far out because ling speed could kick in at any moment. But he cancelled ling speed, guys. How do we know? Because those lings didn't have ling speed. It should have been done by 3 minutes 30. The fact that it's still not done at 4 minutes is a big tell that our opponent is being what we in the industry call a naughty boy. He's probably swapping into roach play of his own because he's seen, hey, I'm not taking a 3rd, I'm playing this, and I bet that's a range upgrade and a roach speed of his own. So we're going to have very mirrored builds, which is really interesting. It's going to be roach versus roach. Let's spread this creep out. Let's move the spine crawler forward. Let's take 2 more drones, a few more overlords. We want to get that 3rd base started because we're floating money, so we might as well. If there was a lot of speedlings around, we could delay it. Just as it is, no need to do that. This queen can move forward and try to kill the overlord. Notice I move her past the overlord. Build a few more roaches. Let's start roach speed. And guys, inject, inject, roachies. And notice, because she hit it from that side, the overlord AI makes it run away from the queen, which is towards my base. So he corrects it, but he's already lost a bunch of time. And that overlord dies without me having to do any extra micro. Technically, you can stutter step your queen, you can move, shoot, like that to get more hits off. But it's something which is kind of annoying and easier if we don't have to do that. We can instead focus on overlords, overlords, overlords. Roaches, roaches, roaches. Inject, inject, more roaches. And guys, let's check the upgrades. 40 seconds away, 30 seconds away. So it's almost time to move out. Let's wait a few more seconds. And behind this, we are going to go take a gas and drone that base up, by the way. All right, let's go, guys. Now, he's also got roaches. My roach army seems about the same size as him. So I wouldn't say I'm really committing to a roach attack so much as threatening a roach attack. Let's build 3 guys there and try to drone that base up. All right, inject, inject, inject. And we're trying to build about 8 more drones. So we're acting nice and scary here. But look, he's got his roaches set up here in a big concave. So we're just going to chill. We built those drones up to 52. 4 gas, plus 2 range. What do we do from that? Nothing but roaches. Now, one thing I was wondering is we might want a 5th gas with this build. And I literally felt I just needed to test it in-game. Oh, I've accidentally morphed Ravagers, that's why. So you can get 4 Ravagers. If you're going to morph Ravagers, you might as well. If you don't go Ravagers, you can stay 4 gas. But if you want to go Ravagers, you're going to need to build 1 more gas, 3 more drones. So 55 drones in total, okay? And then once you've got 4, you can one-shot an Overlord. So we use the rapid fire command there, which we showed how to set up a long time earlier, guys. We're going to pull back another Overlord there. We're just going to go Overlord hunting, and we're back to nothing but roach production at this point, okay? Wait until they're all in range, so it all shoots at the same time. So he has no time to respond. Now we see roaches over there. What are you up to, buddy? Oi! Alright, guys. This could be a distraction. And it is. We can see roaches on the right side. More Overlords. Inject, inject, inject. More roaches. And we're trying to spread corrosive vials across his army. So we're on defense right now. Now let's confirm that we have more economy. I sense that we have more economy because his roach army feels a little bit bigger than mine. We don't know for sure. So this is our Overseer. We've got an Overlord there, an Overlord there, an Overlord here, making sure we've got good vision. Gonna move a few more Overlords up as well. A few more Overlords, lots more roaches. And what you're looking for is, oh, very nice. Okay, guys, let's build spores. Okay, that I was not expecting. Well done. Okay, inject, inject, shift 4. Inject, shift 4. Bring those to the front. All right, we have to drone here, or we have to go straight for a big roach push. It's one or the other. Very nice play by him, though. We should have been Overseer scouting during this build-up phase. And yeah, basically we're just going to drone up this third on the minerals as hard as we can. Okay, guys? Now, we're going to try and spread creep as well, because that's going to be important. And we're going to start an infestation pit. I didn't get a spore in the main, which is definitely an issue. Probably want a spore there as well. Take the gas, inject, inject. Take a few of these eggs and just rally to the minerals. And as long as we have spores and roaches everywhere, and then we have these 3 queens on their defense keys, we've built 3 new queens to replace them, then we should be okay. Okay, so you guys can see, check this out. We've got way too many drones on the third, so we can send some of those back. Pull these roaches and ravagers back. Notice he's splitting his army up nicely, so we're not A-moving everything, guys. We're just moving our units in little squads. We also want to get Overlord speed. Just keeping our unit spread. Overlord speed will allow us to run away as needed. And what you want to go is you want to go Hydroden Hive, Carapace, but you can also build a few Infestors if you want. So we're just going to build 2. Actually, we're not even going to bother with 2 because this seems like just a handful of units. It's annoying, but it's not going to, you know, win the game or anything. We can move a Spore Crawler forward there, this Spore Crawler there. We can build a Spore there and move that one forward. And we can move these roaches forward as well. Okay. So we can drone that gas. 70 workers is still more than we need. We just want to transfer workers to these bases as we take them. And the whole idea here is we want to go Lurkaden and Hydras. And I cancelled the Infestors. Infestors are good if it's Massling Bane, guys. But if it's not that, you don't really need them. So why would we need them? Right? And we're just going to basically add Lurkers and Vipers to this. Hydras are okay if we've got the gas to spare. We'll get the upgrades just in case. But we don't want to spend all of our gas on Hydras because we want the better quality units. Oh, okay, so he's coming with a big attack, guys. I wasn't expecting just a pure roach timing, but it looks like he's going to try and fight us here. Oh, hello. I didn't even notice that sound effect. What the hell? All right, I'm going to split those guys on the other army key. These guys here. We're building nothing but roaches and hydras. We'll cancel the hatchery up the front. Okay, so we're going to have to split our army. Very nicely done by him. These guys as well. And we're just trying to play survival simulator. These guys plus the queens here. The queens will defend that main. And these guys from the main are going to come back shift 2 back into our main army. We've already got a lot of hydras out, so we're building nothing but roaches at this point. We're going to start putting guys back on gas and inject, inject. And I'm going to go back to droning because we want to always rebuild our economy. You could try to take a big fight after a moment like this. Stacking our own roach is a big mistake. He got creep there? What's he got creep for? That's weird. I'm very confused, guys. Oh, there's a Nidus worm there as well. Yeah, I didn't even notice the Nidus worms. That's very odd. Quick the Nidus worm, so even if it pops, can't get out. Alright, more roaches. We're gonna make some lurkers now. This is only a small army, so if we can just move on top, move, shoot, that's going to be really good. We're putting Vipers behind this as well. Now, obviously, he's going to try and outposition me somewhere else on the map, but looks like he's kind of filtering in. So it looks like this might have been a very low economy all-in, where he's desperate to trade. So we can maybe chase him, but I don't have the APM. We're going to pull back. I don't want to chase into something crazy. These guys can go back in the main. And we're just droning our bases. Okay, inject, inject, inject. Inject, inject, inject. Inject, 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 inject. Let's get more upgrades. And don't really have the money. His army is here. So the Vipers are going to start gathering energy. And we're going to start borrowing some lurkers around, splitting our units up, some on the right, some on the left. We also just saw a red dot on the minimap. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to A-move over here. And there we go. He's trying to spot for the Nidus again. So we've got the Queens up in the main base again. Killed that. Build 3 drones, click on gas. 10, 11 drones, click on minerals. Build 3 drones, click on gas. What's our drone count? 70. Oh, cool. We're back at a decent drone count. Let's get +3 attack, +2 range. More important upgrades are these two. Let's get those 2 upgrades. You should always queue your Vipers to gather energy not just once, but twice. I only did it once, which is why they're not max. So that's me being lazy, okay? Alright, so we're just going to keep queuing up injects here. Oh, and notice he's just going to keep trying to use that angle. So we're just going to keep on kind of hanging out here with these mutas being as annoying as we can. So we're going to split our army right now. Oh, here we go. I heard a Nidus screech. It's really quiet. But he's trapping his units, so this is really good for us. We can build a few more drones. Clean that bad boy up. And we can attack back to the front now. So even though he's doing some good damage, of course, we could borrow this lurker too. Okay, it looks like by getting to lurkers and surviving, we were okay. Okay, so this was really cool, guys, because what we played here was a game which could have been a lot simpler, but he ground us to a standstill. So let's go back to the very start and say, hey, if I didn't make those Ravages, would I have been able to win this game? Well, maybe. I might have even been able to just kill him with my first roach attack. At this point, guys, we have 17 roaches, +1 and roach speed. Now, his +1 and roach speed is already done. How many roaches has he got? 16. 16 plus 17, not a good fight for me. Now, I technically have more roaches rallying in behind quicker than he does, but he's got the quicker rally point. Seeing the number of roaches I saw, the setup he had, not attacking seems like the right call. But look at this. He's done some really good stuff. He's actually got 8 workers up, or 7 worker advantage on a 3rd base before me. So he's gone and built himself an advantage in this game, countering my build. He saw what I was doing. Obviously, he knew what I was doing before. Cancelled link speed, went straight to roaches himself, and he took a 3rd, knowing that I couldn't punish it. So you could argue that when I saw the Evo chamber at the front, maybe not the Evo, the Roach Warren, right? Which is... here, that I could immediately move out and take a 3rd base, because I know, oh yeah, he's just playing roaches. He doesn't have link speed, right? Or even just a few seconds before, I saw these lings running around and saw they didn't have link speed. So I could have moved out to take a 3rd a little bit earlier here, whereas if there was lings posturing, not necessarily the case. And you can see I'm floating the minerals for it anyway, but I do it a few seconds later than that anyway. We can argue this 3rd base could be a little bit quicker, but otherwise it's all a-okay. Now, arguably, we don't need that spine crawler, and that's something we're gonna remove when we get to Masters League. We're gonna keep doing it for now, just for safety's sake. But as we get into Masters League, we're not going to do that anymore. ZVZ, no more safety spine. Just build reactively. And the reason is, no more safety spine versus hatch first. Because we've got a wall off and 3 queens, which is more than enough defense. So that's really, really unnecessary. Bully is pointing out that if there's no link speed at 4 minutes, they could still have link speed at 4 minutes 30. Anything can happen in the StarCraft game, but what build does link speed finish at 4:30? The only reason would be if they're going quick carapace or melee link flood as a surprise, basically. So that is an option, but there's no way to scout that. So you basically just have to take the third, and that's fine, right? So if they do that, you might lose your third. You probably won't. It really depends on what timing they hit. But we can also notice I really messed up my scouting, guys. I didn't know he had a third base. So on this map, you need to remember this Overlord move here, and this Overlord needs to move up here and go, oh, you got a third base, and then you can pull it back. So lacking that information was pretty big. Now, obviously, I move across with my Roach attack, and at this point I said, oh, you know what? He's well set up. We're not going to commit to the attack. We're just going to drone the 4 gases and go from there. Now, I accidentally morphed these Ravages. That was a hotkey mishit, guys. And then I decided, well, I might as well get 4 Ravages to get some Overlord kill value, which is not bad in of itself. But if you want to do that, you need a 5th gas and 3 more workers. So that's an adjustment we need to write into our build order, right? If you want to add Ravages, actually, this can just be a sub point here. If you want Ravages, add a 5th gas and 3 more drones. So it's a 55 drone, 5 gas timing. So that's something based on your own preference, guys. I'd say generally probably a good idea to get used to the Ravages. That would be great. Now, while you're building up towards that, Overseer Scout, whilst waiting for +2, right? While you're building towards that. Because then if we see Mutalisks, like in this game, the earlier we see that, the better. If I spot this before the Spire is finished, it just gives me so much more time to react. And there's 2 ways we can react. Let's say we spot that Spire at 7 minutes. Let's go to that point in the game, yeah? Maybe just before it finishes. So I can, at this point, basically just go, oh, okay, you're investing in a Spire. I'm just going to go for a giant attack and try to kill you. Now, why is that a bad move? In this game, you can see why. He's actually up on Roaches on me, guys. So even though he squeezed in that expensive structure, he had more workers mining earlier than me and a 4th gas earlier than me. So even though he's down, yeah, he's you know, you might be like, oh, you're building more Roaches. No, he's actually up. I'm on 27 combined Roach count. He's on 36. Now I've got 11 more about to pop out, so I will overtake him, but it's not enough to just go kill him. But sometimes if you see someone going 6 gases and a Spire and they're droning that 3rd fully, then you can go kill them, right? But his only thing that was greedy was the Spire. He was actually safer than me on the drone count. He had less workers than me by 7. And therefore I can't go kill him, which means the other one is technically the correct response. But usually, if you don't have the information, you just grab one out of a hat, guys. You just go, just do one. You just do it. And that's kind of what you do, okay? All right, ZVZ game versus Mutas. So this is a good little match. Versus Boolia, Neo-Humanity. And guys, what do we do? Versus Spire. Either go kill them or turtle up. Okay? Go kill them is pretty self-explanatory. When turtling up, what do we want to do, guys? Drone up super hard. Spread creep to connect bases and towards 4th. Build 3 extra queens, plus add injecting queen to your Freddie Mercury key. Defense key. So basically you're taking the 3 queens that are out. They're the mobile anti-air to help your spore crawlers, help push back the mutas. And the new queens become your injecting queens. If it's a lot of mutas, you might end up adding those new queens to the Freddie Mercury key as well. You can escalate that number, right? First mass muta, keep building queens and adding them to your key. So you get 6 or maybe even 9 queens on defense key. Though 9 is an extreme example, of course. Yeah. You want to spread bases because you want to try and get a 4th up. That's a real big goal. Spread Roaches to block Ling and Bane run-bys. To block ground attacks paired with the Muta Harass. So basically, as long as your Roaches are kind of spread across your bases, they can't just run in and distract you. That's about it, guys. I guess spores as well, right? Build 5 to 6 spores, covering the mineral lines and between the bases. Try to only start these as the mutas are popping. So if you spot a Spire just started, wait 80 seconds, 80 seconds, something like that, like a minute, 1 minute 20 seconds until you start spores. Why? Because a spire takes 70 seconds, the mutas take another 30 seconds to build. So you technically have like a minute 40, and then they got to fly across the map as well. A minute 20 gives you plenty of buffer. Spores only take 20 seconds to build. They build really quickly, right? So that's really nice. This is the initial defense. And then you want to go Infestation Pit plus Hydroden. And then basically, go straight to Lurker Viper, right? Add a few Infestors if they mass muta. Or go Mutiling Bane, right? Because Fungal's really good at shutting that down. So they all try to jump on top. You Fungal them, take the mobility away. Wins you the game. Keep pumping Roaches if they are massing Roaches as well, right? Sometimes they just go a few mutas and try to kill you with a Roach timing, kind of like that last game. And last but not least is, walk Spores towards your fourth to secure it. A lot of people just try to put the fourth down, it just dies to the mutas. Put the fourth down, it just dies. Their queens run off creep, they die as well. Whereas if you actually move a Spore Crawler or two over, you can get it up. And then once you got Lurker Viper, you can go win the game. Yeah. You should hit Lurker Viper much earlier and be able to win the game. That's the technical long way of playing it. Now, what's an easier option, okay, guys? Easier option. Go for Hydras and a move Roach Hydra. Super all-in move. Not reliable. Much easier to execute, though. So remember, guys, there's always an easier option. Bad Vada! Bad Vada, thank you!
You're the man. Big.
So you can see how playing the technical proper pro gamer thing is incredibly detailed. And sometimes just building the Roach Hydra and A-moving, that'll win you every game to like Masters 1. A lot of people, it's like, yeah, do the Roaches naturally stay in front because they have less range? You just go Roach Hydra, you A-move. Roaches are a little bit faster. Roaches have less range. They'll naturally be in front. So you don't need units on a different key. You could just go like 6 gas, 66 drones, probably something like that. Maybe 63 drones, something like that. I would say 5 to 6 gas and, maybe 60. Let's say about 60-ish drones, 60 drones. Not much easier to execute though. Urgency and surprise is the key factor, If you can skip spores entirely and defend with just queens and hydras, then your timing will be much stronger, right? So that's the way it works. Roach Hydra all-ins die to Roach Bane speed. Yeah, Bane speed in general. The thing is, if they're going lots of Roaches, they usually shouldn't have Bane speed until much later. They shouldn't really have time to react with mutas and Roaches and Bane speed, but if they're going Mutiling Bane, definitely it's a big issue. Some points I was doing Roach into Muta to force a Roach Hydra all in, and they would always... So you'd actually pre-plan Banelings because everyone was playing Roach Hydra versus you, Vulia? That's sick. That's actually so smart, man. I like that. Hide an Overseer in the corner of the map versus mutas. Why? Drop Changelings and send them in from there to check their follow-up, okay? That's huge. That's the most vital thing you have to do, guys. Because if you try to fly Overseers across from your side of the map or walk Changelings from your side of the map, they're going to kill it with the mutas every time. But if you've got it up in the top corner of the map, it'll get in. So for instance, in this game, right, we go to like, I don't know, 7 minutes or something like here, somewhere around here, when the mutas have just shown themselves and started to control the map. What should I have been doing, guys? Well, I should have got an Overseer up to this top right corner, just left it here, and periodically I could just come up there, drop a Changeling or two, click them into his bases, and I could check what his follow-up was. Because I did not scout at all what the follow-up was in this game, right? This was really shitty scouting. And I'm kind of in this mode of shitty scouting because we didn't have the APM for it at lower leagues and all this sort of stuff. But at this point, I really should be scouting a lot more to check what he's doing. So what you want to do, because there's so many follow-ups he can do, and the problem with playing against mutas is even though mutas suck in front of the fight, they take away your map vision. Now, I was very lucky. Bullia should have cleaned all these overlords up on the right side of the map, He didn't for a very long time. Gave me a lot more vision. Same with this Overlord here. Not that that one's the most important. But what would we be looking for, guys? So let's fast forward to, say, 9 minutes, a little bit later. So what would we check at 9 minutes into the game? Well, we'd look at what's going on, because sometimes they don't drone up at all. This base has still only got a few drones. They're doing nothing but roaches. It's a big roach all in to follow it up. In which case, we need to do nothing but build roaches. Sometimes they're droning all this, and these gases, and going a hive, and a lurker den, and they're actually just saying, I've got 5 muters. I know you're going to turtle. I'm going to go straight to lurkers now. And they're actually going to maybe even beat you to hive and lurkers, right? And you're like, oh god, okay, I really need to make sure I get plenty of Vipers up to Blinding Cloud, and, you know, don't waste any time on upgrading my lurkers and stuff like that, right? So having an Overseer hidden in the corner of the map is one of the best ways to scout against it. If you've got Ling speed, you can use that to run Lings in, which we do not. That's why we can't. That's why we're not talking about it. And yeah, I think that's going to be one of the big things, because there's so many different ways. Now, if you see the Nidus Worm, that's huge. Obviously, I didn't even notice the Nidus Worm until after it had unloaded. This was a big doo-doo head moment. But what I did very well was split my army up, right? So, what do you need to do? Split your army, and the moment you realize your opponent's essentially trying to kill you with mass roach of your own. The muters, just, if you are struggling and there's a decent muter count, build a few more spores, build a few more queens. But too many people, when they're under threat, they're like, build Hydras. Hydras are a trash unit up against roaches. They're only good as sort of a sniper unit behind the roaches. They're very fragile. Likewise, lurkers and vipers technically are really good, but you don't need them. You just need, so if they're trying to kill you, roaches, queens, spores are how you survive. And that's why at first I was building lots of Hydras, and then I swapped back into nothing but roaches. And even though it makes it feel like your army's not that good, you gotta remember you're ahead on tech, so it's kind of okay. So we ran the drones away, and what do, guys? We boxed our army, and we split it. So you're gonna see half the army's on number 7, that's my drop defense key, and the other half or 2/3 is up the front. We canceled this hatch, we've lost a lot of drones. Because we're at a late game stage, you have a lot of money. As long as you rebuild your economy, you have a lot of ability to bounce back from these sort of attacks. This is something, if you guys have ever watched the Florencio files, you would know 90% of players up to Masters League don't understand. They basically just take damage and they go, ah! And they just never rebuild their economy, right? We see it over and over again, where he's just doing weird harassment and throwing people out of their element, and they just forget to rebuild economy. But the moment I stabilize, which is a while away, because obviously it takes me a little bit to defend this, you're going to see drones power up in that production tab. I started queuing injects up again, and then went back to defending a little bit. Like, oh, look, he's going for another Nidus. Oh shit, I ran back there, I shut it down, and I went back to, and I built a few more roaches there, because I was like, Jesus, okay, he's still trying to kill me. He's in all-in mode. The moment I'm making those roaches and lurkers, I also get a few vipers out. We can definitely be like, okay, I held off an army. Now, I could have counterattacked there, and I probably could have won, but at this point, I had no situational awareness. So I didn't know where I was up to in the game. What can I do? Maybe I can go kill him. I probably could, but I knew that I was already so far behind on fixing my economy that I was like, well, I know what'll definitely work and get me in a better position. Injecting, building drones, fixing my worker count up, waiting for these Vipers to get energy. And also, I haven't made any lurker upgrades yet. I've been so busy scrambling to defend. So I haven't hit the strong points of my tech really yet. A few lurkers? Wait for the Vipers. Wait for the lurkers to get some upgrades. And it took me a very long time to get those lurker upgrades. These lurker upgrades should be your highest priority, guys, well above. A lot of the times, you won't even start 3-2. You just get the Vipers, get some lurkers, lurker upgrades, morph some lurkers, try to go kill them with that. And then if the game drags on, you can add plus 3-3 or plus 3-2. But these upgrades take forever to kick in. And if you're wasting all your gas on this rather than making lurkers and vipers as quickly as possible, and you let them catch up on the tech and get their own lurkers and vipers, you're like, my units do 2 more, my roaches do 2 more damage. And it's like, well, that's good. You could have just won the game by attacking with lurkers and vipers, but you let that window of time close, and now your tech advantage disappeared. So understanding where you're strong and where you're weak should always inform your decisions, both economically and aggressively, and just generally what you're focusing on. So keep in mind that this is a very common thing in a very close game. Often people won't go 3-3 upgrades even with ultras or zerglings. They'll go just get the ultra chitinous plating and just go for a big attack. And then if the game drags on, they'll add adrenal glands and 3-3 and these sort of things. But in a very close game, it's not the highest priority to start upgrades. Upgrades are something that the longer and longer a game drags out, the better they are. But in the immediate move, if I have lurkers 2 minutes earlier, I can go kill you. Always take advantage of that. All right, guys. Well, check it out. We are going into a Zerg versus Protoss versus a 4200 MMR player. So getting higher and higher in these games, and Diamond 1 players start to get very frightening. They're still going to have deficiencies in their game compared to our Masters player. Masters, especially Masters 2 and Masters 1, of course, where there's quite a big gap, but always impressive how they go. Now, for whatever reason, my console just bugged out and randomly changed to this shiny thing. I don't know why, guys. It just does that occasionally. And it is what it is. Now, this is EVP, so we're going to be going Hydra Ling Bane. But remember that it's still more of a focus on Ling Bane at the start. We're not drastically changing the opening, but the big changes that we're making here in Diamond League are huge. They are game-changing. Because... Oh, hello. Okay, you dickhead. He didn't get there early enough to block a 16 hatch. You lucky boy. So we built 2 more drones while we're waiting to get here. We're going to take our 3rd base as our natural. But our opening is going to be way more efficient, guys. Now, why is it going to be way more efficient? You know what? This is where we're just going to do that. We're in Diamond now, guys. We're going to screw with our opponent a little bit. How do you like them apples? So I just queued it to go around a bunch of times and then run home. I mean, you can see it didn't really delay his Nexus at all because he sent his probe down early. So it didn't really achieve anything. But I still get to feel like a little bit like I'm giving him a taste of his own medicine, you know? Just a little bit. So anyway, big thing is we're not just massing lings, that big fat round of lings at 2 base that we used to do. Instead, we're going to be basically saying, hey, build lings as they're needed. Reacting to our opponent? Oh my god, that's going to be crazy. We're also not going to take the second gas in the Baneling Nest quite so quickly. It's going to be delayed a little bit as standard. And not just that, guys. Remember, this is ZVP, so this Overlord comes in and then goes out through the butt of their base. And that's going to scout. And if it scouts a Stargate, we're going to delay the second gas in Baneling Nest even more. Because that's what you do when you are playing up against... Get ling speed up against a Stargate. Any sort of airplay, really, from any race, is you need a lot more minerals. All right, guys, so our lings, we're going to send the ling across the map like we do. The other ling will build another ling or 2. So we're going to have 5 Zerglings at home in case there is an Adept, of course. Put our Overlords out front our base. So 1 out there, 1 out here. Put another 1 up here as well. Build another Overlord. And there we go. Inject. Oh, we don't have the 3rd base yet. So that is something that's a little bit different with these... This start is always a little bit weird. We can change the rally point back to the main because an Adept could be arriving soon. We're also going to need those drones anyway to go back on gas. So you can see my injects are a bit out of sync because of the delayed hatchery. What's going on there? What is the tech? So we're meant to be looking, is it Twilight or Stargate, guys? Now we see 2 gates and no tech, which is peculiar. All right, here comes that Adept we talked about. So our lings can go after it. Now we could do a Spore trick there. But we missed one of them, got one of them. I think that's pretty reasonable for this league. And this ling here just killed 2 probes. Now, we still don't know what tech it is, so we're going to keep flying the Overlord through. Inject, inject. And this queen can move down to the natural. We can put workers back on gas. Rally back to the 3rd. Build Overlords for the edges. Now, this is all obviously a bit of a disrupted opening, but that's okay. We'll send lings to the possible expansions. If we don't see an expansion or tech, we need to start reacting soon anyway, because clearly our opponent's hiding something. The fact there's no tech is already incredibly bizarre. Now we see a Twilight Council, so we know it's a ground-based play. Cool. So that verse Stargate reaction we talked about earlier, guys, we don't need to do that. Gonna build a few more Overlords and a lot more drones. Looks like we can see Stalkers, Adepts, and a probe moving to a 3rd base. We can send our lings outside, and we've got the APM. We'll go check that that's actually the case. So we're just droning right now. Droning, droning, droning. We're also going to get Freddie Mercury started, and these 2 queens are actually going to become Freddie Mercury. They've just injected. New queens will replace them. So these 2 can just go, yep, creep, creep. And now we can go second gas Baneling Nest. So notice it's delayed a little bit, right? And normally it'd be about 4:15. Today, this game, it was a little bit off. It was a little bit later than that, but it's probably, you know, not super urgent anyway, is it, right? All right. So we're going to build some lings because we don't really know what's going on. So we'll build 1 round of Zerglings just because we saw a Twilight Council. There could be some sort of attack coming. And we're going to go around and just kind of keep injecting our bases and getting everything going. So we'll spread a little bit more creep. We're just waiting for those injects to pop. And then we can go inject, inject, inject. Build these drones. That's going to bring us up to the 55 drones that we know we love. Double macro hatch. And actually, we should have done boxing more drones than that. We shouldn't have to go back and box. We should have just boxed all of them, guys. Shift click, shift 1. Control group the Evo chambers. Build a few drones to replace these guys we've been building with. And look at that, 3 mineral lines, 2 gases. You know it, you love it. This is exactly where we want to be. Now, in this game, I feel very blind. So what am I doing? I'm actually sending lings along the edges. So I'm going A move, shift A move, and then I'm shift deselecting a Zergling, remaking my control group. What am I doing? I'm checking for corner bases, proxies, warp prisms, any of that stuff. And I'm also realizing there's gaps in the vision on the top left. So we're going to fill that gap in. Inject, inject, inject. We're going to have to build a bunch of overlords here because we're at supply blocks. We're building like 7 overlords, which might sound excessive, but I guarantee you guys, it is not. 4th and 5th base are going down. Build another drone or 2 to replace it. And I'm just going to keep building Ling Bane. Now, if you don't know what's going on, check. Those are zealots. Very suspect. Adepts. And there's more zealots there as well. Okay, so I think my opponent's going mass charge. And they're probably going to be moving out very soon. So let's send a new Zergling. Replace it. Send a new Zergling. Replace it. Make some Banes. Now, I'm not control grouping the Banes separately yet until I see what the army is. Add these to my control group. Stalker's cleaning up scouting. He's trying to sneak his way across this map, for sure. For sure. Right? Maybe, maybe not. Alright, guys. We're just going to send my army out to scout. Let's get Bane speed started. Inject, inject, inject. And I'd like to go gases and up into Hydras as well. But right now, I'm just focusing on mass Zergling production, okay? So let's run into the 3rd. And if you don't know what your opponent's doing, force them to show you what they're doing by going for a nice big attack. And indeed, we see some zealots, but not that much. Let's pull back, let the banelings get in here. And alright, yeah, we can stop him from escaping. So we're just gonna run in there. The banelings did hit the Stalker, which is not the best, and he's going Immortal Archon Zealot. Okay. So that's very useful for us to know. Immortal Archon Zealot. Gonna clean up all of the zealots. We can now click on the 3rd. Inject, inject, inject. We're actually going to drone. So rally to that base, rally to that base. I'd like to take gases, but we can't right now. So we're going to make 1 round of drones. I need lava. So we're queuing injects on all of these hatcheries. And where's that Hydroden? Hydroden should have already been going down. My bad on that. Alright, guys. So we're going to make... Oh, he's going to just counterattack. Okay. That I did not expect. So we're going to grab every queen, inject, shift 4. Inject, shift 4. Remember, this is our emergency maneuver where all the queens are now on the defense key. And we're going to put those banelings on a separate key to go towards the zealots. Okay, guys? Move fast. Banelings go for the A move. And we are just going for the big surrounding A move. Trying to kill everything we can. There's a lot of Archons. Archons are a big problem for us. Luckily, we traded and got rid of all those zealots early enough, but it was okay, and our Ling Bane was still effective. And this is what's really interesting about this style is, obviously, when we fight is so massive, right? I'm building drones for the gases, by the way. We're going to make the Hydra upgrade, +1 range, +2 melee, more Zerglings. And we're going to go Queen in the main, Queen in the natural, Queen in the 3rd. Rebuild Lizzie, Cersei, and Latifah, guys. That's going to be huge. Alright, now look at this. We're way oversaturated now. We actually way over-droned there. I meant to go to about 66. We actually went a lot higher than that. And that was just because I lost track of how many drones I had. That's okay. Split some lings off. They're going to go backstab key. We're also going to send a Zergling scout to check the base. Just a few Zergling scouts all over the map. Alright, let's get the other Hydra upgrade. Build a few more overlords. And we're going to be building 8 Hydras. Okay, so you can see. What are we doing, guys? We're just going to use our dumping key, number 0. Those guys are just going to kill. He's just trying to deny my vision with lone zealots. So I figure I might as well just send a bunch of guys to deal with it. These guys can hide in the corner. I'll morph them into Banes and click them in the middle line at some point. But for now, let's get up to about 20 Hydras. I already built 8. I just built another 6. These guys just trying to do what they can. And these are just little, if I lose these guys, I don't care. If I lose these guys, I don't really care. So remember, these are like low value investments. Now, I've still got these other 2 queens on the Freddie Mercury key. Now that there's new injecting queens, we can use those guys to Q injects. A few more hydras on the way. And that should be about 20 hydras, which you guys know that's where we stop. 20 hydras is as many as we pretty much ever need. Creep tumor, creep tumor. And yeah. All right, so let's split our army, guys. So we're gonna put these guys up here. They're gonna go number 2. And the rest will go number 1 down here. All right, so number 1 is gonna attack the natural. Number 2 is gonna attack the 3rd. And we might be able to surround their army from both sides. That would be the ideal. Ooh, look, extra workers. But if we can't, that's totally fine. Let's get an Overseer. I don't have an Overseer at all. I also haven't been Overseer scouting. Your lair's very late with this style, which is why I couldn't do it earlier, but I definitely can start doing it now. That's a lot of Banelings I just morphed, probably more than I need. Let's take some gas since I'm gas starved. We can kind of transfer workers onto that in a little bit. Oh, I don't want to show my army. Go back, go back. Alright, we're waiting for Banelings to be on both sides of the army. Obviously against a Zealot player, that's very important. And these guys are here. Now that's the Artosalope, I believe. Maybe the Tastalope. Alright, big army here. Big army A move top, big army A move bottom. Let's go. Top side, running into big Zealot army. Yeah, that's okay. Let's just click the Banelings and click them in the mineral line. They'll automatically run in. Run in, A move. Click in the middle line. Alright, let's double tap the other army key. What's going on over there? Disruptors. Probably a good idea to run away from that, right? So I click those other guys way far back. Now, I'm clicking on the Zealot in the middle so the Banelings detonate and blow all of them up. I'm going to click that. We're running our main army away. These guys click the Nexus. They run away. And that's an army that's very good at killing Hydras. Doesn't matter. I'm going to build more Hydras, more Lings, and mostly Banes. Because a lot of my Hydras survived, which is what you want after any fight. Inject, inject. And notice I'm holding down Shift. I've pulled everything all the way home. I ran these guys on the north, these guys on the middle, because so they didn't run in. And then I can just F2, bring it together, Shift 1. Just adding my army back together, taking stock of everything. +3 range, +3 carapace. So remember, guys, that slow inject cycle I was talking about? Inject, hold down Shift, click a few times. Inject, hold down Shift, click a few times. Why? Because even if he was chasing me across the map, he's got so much room to cover. I know he can't really do anything to me for a long time. We can also spread some more creep. So we're going to spread a little bit more creep, cue some injects on that 5th base as well. We can also just chuck some guys on the gas guys are there as well. Cool. Alright, now, do we want to attack from one side? There was disruptors. Probably not a good idea, actually. So let's grab these guys. Once again, army number 2 on the top, army number 1 on the bottom, okay? And nothing but Zerglings from here. Even though there's Colossus, I feel like I have the numbers just to have fast units that can get on top. We should be really good. Let's transfer these guys over here. Keep taking new hatcheries, guys. And remember, if you're going to take a hatchery, look at how much money I have. Why am I building 3 hatcheries? Do I need them right now? No. But I just don't want to have to constantly be going, oh, build a hatchery. I'll go back, select a drone, build it. Don't make life hard for yourself. Make it easy. Make it easy. That's what we're all about. So we've got a bigger army on the south, a smaller one on the top, guys. And I don't know what we're running into. So let's send this Zergling in. Oh, okay. So check it out. We're going to try and sandwich this, guys. So we're going to try and go for the army. Top army coming in. Bottom army coming in. Let's try and get right on top. And notice we're moving right on top of it. Right on top. He's got a lot of splash damage. Because we came from 2 sides, it looks like it was enough to overwhelm. He made fantastic splash damage. He gets very scary when they make all those units. So technically, if we weren't doing so well, and they've got Disruptors, Colossus, Storm, that's bad for Hydraling Bane. So what can we do, guys? Well, we can go Infestation Pit. And then you want to go Hive and Spire. Broodlords are the ultimate anti-ground unit. See, some I believe you said Vipers. They've got a few Colossus. Vipers are really good. If they've got a few Disruptors, Vipers are really good. But what if they've got Feedback and Storm and Colossus and Disruptors? Well, Broodlords are much easier because what you can do with Broodlords, you can have 10, 12, 15 Broodlords and you attack, move them, and they just do the job. Vipers, you're going to need to abduct every single one of those fancy spellcaster units, which gets very difficult, right? Especially if they're a player who's good enough to feedback your Vipers, you can be in trouble. But you make Broodlords, what's the answer for Protoss to Broodlords? They don't have an answer other than the Tempest. They just don't, right? What can they do? They technically could like try to shift click them down with carriers, but it's very complicated, very high up the tech tree as well. So definitely an issue. Protosses don't feedback in Diamond 1. In GM, they're pretty bad at it as well. I gotta be honest. Anything sub-pro level, they're pretty bad at, guys. I think what was really interesting here, though, guys, is we really wanted more info, and we couldn't really get it. Now, this was a 2-base all-in with a fake third, I almost want to call this, is what this felt like. What do I mean? Well, this had 5 probes on it pretty early, but that probe count didn't grow. I kept scouting, and I couldn't really see the army. And, you know, I couldn't really see what was going on there. You're good at not getting supply blocked. Any tips on working on these 2 important aspects? Macro cycle analysis? It's all about the macro cycle. It always is. Yeah, notice he's not probing, guys. And my opponent, Skizzy here, even transferred workers from the main and the natural to the third to make it look like they were mining their third. So Skizzy, this is actually a fake third build that Skizzy did, guys, where Skizzy's going for a 10-gate, 2-base, Immortal Archon Zealot all-in. So for some of you, you're probably wondering, well, if you're not committing to the 1/1 Ling Bane, aren't you just going to Hydras? And yeah, but I did commit to the 1/1 Ling Bane, didn't I? Right? I made 1/1 and I was looking for a fight. I was making Banelings, I was scouting and I kept scouting. And there was a few things that tickled me. I saw a few Zealots standing there on hold position that I thought, do they have charge? And they're trying not to move to show that they have charge? Because earlier I came in and saw these 2 Zealots before this moment. And I was like, huh. Now what I could have done, click the Zealot, and if you hover over their armor, that movement speed, you don't need to remember the number. If it's yellow, that means it's enhanced by an upgrade, right? So anytime you guys are looking at, you know, you want to see that same, if with Adept Glaives, technically they throw orange attacks instead of blue attacks. But you could also hover over their attack and see that their weapon speed on an Adept, when it's got the Glaive upgrade, will be yellow because it's been enhanced. So that's one way of telling they have the upgrade and they're committing to Zealots, right? Which is pretty good. The other thing here is obviously just worker count-wise. So I would argue we're not safe to drone up past this 1/1 Ling Bane point to take all 4 gases, you know, go to 6 gas, go to Hydras, unless we know our opponent's actually properly committing to economy on that 3rd base. If they're not, and they're just massing units on 2 base, then heck, this is something where we might even want to go for roaches. Now, that's something we talked about last week, so I want to rehash over this. Let's go back to Diamond 2. How to adapt first Protoss that doesn't take a third by 6 minutes. We talked about how you need to add roaches in that scenario because they're going to have Archons up too early. In this case, this was actually a kind of similar scenario, but it still delays his attack a little bit, getting the third and kind of faking that, right? It still does delay that attack that he's going to plan to go for. So I could have gone roaches there as well, technically, if I wanted to play super safe. But basically, just getting enough Ling Bane is going to be pretty damn fantastic, right? You get enough Ling Bane, it's going to be pretty good until that Archon count grows. If you get 6 Archons, suddenly Ling Bane, I'm not feeling very good about my investment. And I'm wishing I had either Hydras or preferably Roaches as a more accessible unit to deal with it, Roaches and Ravages. But we actually got some very good fights here. We came in, we kill a bunch of probes on that third, and we also get a lot of these Zealots. And he could have come out with his Immortals, but you could see he was trying to really hide what he was up to and stuff. And was just a little bit slow to kind of come up. But this was very important scouting info for me. Seeing, oh, you are just massing up units on 2 base. This is a fake. So even though I attacked just before 1/1 and Bane speed, this worked out really well for me. And the reason is there were things missing. And this is pretty advanced, but we're in Diamond 1. We're going to start to sometimes base things off our feeling. Which is, guys, I'm scouting here with this Zergling, and I'm going, why is there not that many probes? Why is there only 2 Zealots? Number 1. Number 2, I saw Zealots behind the wall. I spotted those Zealots, and I said, why are you hiding? So he's hiding Zealots. He's not probing very hard. So 2 different signs of suspect stuff. And then, check it out, these Stalkers go on a circuit cleaning up all my Ling Scouts. So he's trying to deny my vision. He's very conscious about trying to hide me from seeing what he's doing. So there's 3 different tells that all made me go, I'm just going to hold down the Ling Bane key and keep scouting and attacking and kind of figuring out what the hell is he doing. So This is pretty complicated, but if what your opponent's doing doesn't make sense, it's a very good idea to scout a lot and get aggressive. So let's go back here. Let's go underneath the ZVP section and write a little note for this one, which is ZVP game versus fake third 2-base attack. If their setup just doesn't add up, you know, there's not enough of anything you can see, scout harder. In my game on, you know, Cistern, I should have Overseer scouted the moment I was confused about what the opponent was doing, right? And that's massive. I thought sometimes you have to go Roaches if you scout a Twilight. No, we're using Banelings. Banelings versus Twilight. If you want to play a Roach style, then you can play Roaches. Because we're playing a Massling Bane style, we're trying to get away with Banelings, which is definitely a little bit riskier in some scenarios, but you can usually make it work. If they go like 8-gate Glaive Adept, it can get kind of nasty. I'm fine until I get attacked. Then I have 50 supply free. I don't need to build Overlords as part of each cycle. Maybe I do and I'm just an idiot. No, I mean, that's a really good adjustment. But if you can definitely skip building Overlords for a round of production analysis. But the thing is, like, StarCraft is all about building a system that doesn't change unless you have very good reason for changing it. And in that specific scenario, you change it. So this is the problem that people get into when they're programming themselves for StarCraft. Now I said, but then I change it. You're not changing the system. You're doing a one-off exception to the system. The system is still build army, build Overlords. Or, you know, you build units, build Overlords. Inject, 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 build units, build Overlords. Inject, 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 build units, build Overlords. Now you get bonus points if you go, oh, you know what? I have a really big free supply. I'll skip Overlords this cycle. The next cycle, it doesn't mean you skip Overlords automatically. No, that was a one-off. So, and if you're not paying attention and you build the Overlords, you're a little inefficient. You built those Overlords ahead of time. But that's something every time. Now, a lot of people build Overlords first. Whether you build it usually after the units or before, I prefer after. As I'm building my units, I'm always looking at my supply count. Every macro cycle, I'm looking at the top right of the screen and going, my man, oh, I'm almost supply blocked already. Yeah, I need a shitload of Overlords this cycle. Or there's a big gap and I go, oh, I don't need that many. If you are more on autopilot and you're like, I just build 3 Overlords every time or 4 Overlords every time or something, whatever it is, right? That's totally fine. You can do that and it's not going to kill you. But you program and then you learn exceptions is really good. For me, it's very important to systematically, you know, have an automatic, a default number one. And for me, I've made it so it's not a set number of Overlords. My default is looking at my supply and then building as many as I need based off of that, right? That's kind of part of the system for me. If that's a bit too much for you, it might be something you only add when you get to a more advanced level, though. I don't think I was always necessarily like that when I was starting out as a player. All right, guys, one more Zerg vs. Zerg here in Diamond 1. This is EU Diamond 1 with PIIIIIIG, who's been Masters many times before, I believe. So he's actually a pretty good Zerg player, but I believe he is super rusty. This man raids too much World of Warcraft last time I checked. And was a bit too obsessed with co-op, I think. Used to always drag him away from practicing the ladder games. But a very good player. Once again, we've got the console bugging out and automatically switching game to game into this throbbing tentacle over here above our command card. Interesting. Anyways, it is what it is. We're going to go for that droney scout and head on back. So yeah, PIIIIIIG is a very good player, but it'll be interesting to see exactly how this game goes. Let's go for that 17 hatch now. Did start the 17th drone a little bit late, but that's okay. Just double him up on that close patch there, no worries. And get that hatchery down. So Terran is going to be up in the next game, don't worry guys. There is going to be a whole bunch of ZVT because we do need more Terrans in general. We didn't get many last week playing. We had like a really good mech game last week, but I don't think we had any bio. We only had like 1 or 2 bio games and they were a bit one-sided. All right guys, the drone scout sees a hatch first, sees what appears to be a pretty standard build. And we're playing ZVZ. That spawning pool is very late again. Very lazy, guys. Sorry. I don't know why I'm so distracted here playing the ZVZs. Let's try and make sure this build tightens up a little bit, okay? So this guy can just rally to the natural. This drone can mine there. And then this guy can go there. Everything else rally to the natural. So we're going to have about 20 drones mining from the main, maybe 19. And just make sure they stack up so that they're not bouncing around stupidly the whole time. Same with this guy here. We'll put another Overlord. And just make sure these guys are stacked up, which they are. What? King Slorch with a massive $200 tip. Thank you so much, you absolute savage, dude. I above and beyond and above and beyond my beyond is above. Jesus, thank you so much, dude. My tip just got so engaged. My tip goal for today was very flaccid, and now it's very firm. What can I say, Twitch chat? You've once again... Oh, McCain, you've done it again. King Slorch, you've slorched me face off again. Thank you very much, my friend. All right, guys. So remember, about 31 supply, we've realized there's an advanced little thing we can do where we rally back to the main, preparing the extra drones when we take those gases. We can start the third queen, inject Lizzie, inject Cersei, and keep building droney drones, take the double gas before looking at the Zerglings. Let's see if we can get in. All right, so we get in, we see drones popping out, which is already good. It means he's not just massing Zerglings. And we see Ling speed. We also see he's only got one worker mining gas, which means it's unlikely there's going to be a big Baneling bust or anything like that. But that's okay. Oh, I forgot the spine crawler, didn't I? Definitely want that. Now, I didn't actually check if there was a third base taken or not, so we're just going to move those overlords up to check the bases and then back. Keep building droney drones. And we can get the Tifa out there. Maybe hit an overlord once or twice. Build an overlord or two here. And we should be in a pretty good spot. It's 3 minutes 30, guys, so you know what to do. Rochorin, Evo, and... Oh! That's not good. Evo and Evo. Always good to build on the edge first and foremost. Now, I see Lings coming, and in general, just a good idea to pull that queen back, isn't it? Let's get the lair and the third gas going. Inject, inject. All right, so we want to build one drone here to go on that patch. We also must have a patch that has 3 on it. That can go there. Oh, hold position. Shit, so I right-click, shift, hold position. She's now in hold position after she moves to the right-click command. +1 ranges on the way, guys, and we want to put guys on gas immediately, okay? So what's the drone count? We're at 44, which is actually more than I intended. That's totally fine. Let's go out to take our third straight away. Third base, fourth base, fifth base. And I think we're in a pretty good spot. So we're going to be building roaches, overlords, just spreading those overlords across here, doing what we can with them. Now, starting the third right now, we can't even defend it, right? So we're just going to wait there with the drone. But we can spread creep out. We can start moving the spine crawler out there. The queen no longer in hold position. I'm keeping an eye on the minimap because Lings could flood across at any moment. We'll make roach speed right now. And let's take that third now. So remember, if our roaches are in between the third and the mineral line, they're usually pretty safe. Inject, inject. Roaches are on the way. I can go there. Awesome. All right, guys. Now this queen, she's out here. She's going to spread another creep tumor. And then we just hang out here. Move that spine crawler towards the third a little bit more. A few more overlords are on the way. So we are very close to being supply blocked. That was very lazy of me, guys. My last round of production, I didn't build any roaches. So we're going to hit a slight supply block with this next production round. And even now, I'd like to be building 2 more roaches. Can't start them just yet. So this is going to delay my roach speed +1 timing slightly because we need this next round of production. We need these 8-9 roaches. So as they're popping, we'll move out. And it won't be too late. We're just moving out a few seconds later than we would like. Now remember, we want to take a 4th gas on our 3rd and build about 8 more drones. We want to go up to 52 drones +1. Or if we want to make a bunch of ravages, we can do a few more. All right, guys, these guys are going to move across. That's 22 roaches because 16, 8 a line, +4, +2. Inject, inject, inject. Build 3 drones, click on the gas. Build another round of drones, which are going to go to the minerals. And we can start +2 behind this as well. Okay, guys. Let's focus on our attack. Let's see if we can get the win. Just the +1 timing. And I just saw a Hydralisk, so that means we can win the game right now. And we focus those, and that's the power of making sure you commit. Yeah, I can see that. I'll let you build some Hydra. Okay. I was going to show you guys you could just make Ravages and Overseers. So, yeah, the moment you see a Hydra that early in the game, it's way too early for anyone to be building Hydras. You should only be doing that much later. And that's just, I mean, I saw a Hydra run up the ramp and I was like, what the fuck you got a Hydra for? So I immediately killed him. So what I was going to do potentially was let him keep the Lurkers alive. You can still kill Lurkers in small numbers with Ravagers, especially because at this point it's lair tech, they don't have range. So they're only 8 range as opposed to 10. They also don't have the adaptive talents, which means they burrow much slower, unburrow much slower, and don't move as fast. So Ravagers are really good. A Ravager Bile does 60 damage. A Lurker has 200 hit points. It takes 4 corrosive biles to kill a Lurker. So you want to go same as killing an Overlord. Overlord has exactly the same hit points, in fact. One of those biles didn't hit the Overlord. Ravagers is really good. Now still, if there's Lurkers here, you don't want to run in a ball, right? So if the Lurkers are here, you want to spread out, much like attacking siege tanks. And if you're super fucking advanced and those Lurkers aren't supported, say there's 5 Lurkers here, I could actually kill this without losing a unit. And I'll show you how, guys. We're going to steal this Zergling onto control group 2, number 3, sorry. So we've got army 1, and then army number 2. So if there's 5 Lurkers there in a line, I can run him in range and run him north. And their Lurker spines will go after him, but they will all miss because he's moving perpendicular to them. As long as if they're in a, all their spines will miss him, and he can literally run back and forwards up here, or even run this way, and they're all attacking that way. And at the same time, your Roach Ravager moves in and kills all the Lurkers without getting hit. And you can take advantage of that in a few rare situations. It's very fancy. You very rarely do it quite like that. But in general, that's why coming in with even just a flank of Roach Ravager, they're all going to shoot towards whichever side comes in first. So maybe they'll eliminate those guys really hard, but the rest of your Roach Ravager kills them. GG's. Pig didn't even scout my 4th, says Triple. You didn't have a 4th. Wait, were you actually building a 4th? Surely not. No, you weren't. So he was trying to gamble on a Lurker rush, guys. He was also trying to drone his 3rd fully. I don't know what Helix was trying to do here, but the power of just committing to an attack. Oh, wait, there was one in the bottom left that he was building, apparently. Apparently, he was building one in the bottom left as well. That was a Zerg versus Zerg game. Well done, Helix. I can tell you're very in practice. Nothing like trying to defend off 5 roaches in ZBZ and just hoping your opponent doesn't attack. Probably the worst matchup for it. I gotta say, the worst matchup for it. All right, guys. Our next game, we're up against Kilkenny, a Diamond 1 4K player who is basically a king of weirdness. I know Kilkenny because we used to cast his games in like Icy Far and a few different shows here and there. He just does a lot of strange stuff. So this is going to be an interesting map. No doubt I'm going to have to react to some weird things. Already knowing that helps me, of course. I mean, I just happen to know he's a bit of a character. But I'm still going to be playing completely standard and only reacting to things as I see them coming, as I always do. Alright guys, so it's good to have a ZVT by the way. Let's drone scout first of all, as we've been doing every game, which might actually help a lot against him since he does such strange openings. 2nd base, 3rd base camera location, 4th base up the top, 5th base down here, and of course, going to be taking one of those drones and rallying there. Now let's just check they're all doubled up. Looks like our workers are doubled up in the close patches. Very nice. Make sure that guy doesn't bounce around too much. Make sure that one doesn't. No worries. Fantastic. All right, that can go sit outside our base. Hatch first on 17, as we do. I'm sure people are going to keep asking. Pretty much every episode, there's always someone who's like, why are we doing it this way? What the hell? But just keep in mind, guys, that if you go for a drone scout, 17 hatch tends to be just a little bit more efficient. Because you don't have enough money to get your spawning pool down early enough to sync up with a 16 hatch. For anyone who understands the technicalities of openings. So we're just going to scout a little bit in that main. If we're going to drone scout, guys, you might as well harass with that drone scout a little bit more. And there we go. Looks pretty standard as far as I can tell. Put guys on gas. And he is indeed building a command center. That's all I wanted to check though. Cool, guys. He can rally back here. That means our main is good. Going 19 overlords, not a bad idea, but it doesn't really matter. We'll just build drone and then 20 overlord. Now, the overlord, we want to go there, so it's kind of watching the Reaper ledge. This guy's more out front. And fantastic. All right, that guy can go back on minerals. We can actually put this guy on the natural. Build a queen, build 4 Zerglings to defend the Reaper. We don't know if there'll be a Reaper or not, but always good by default to be ready for it. And you can always go pressure their natural if they don't rock up with a Reaper. Speaking of which, there we go. All Alright guys, let's pull off gas here, start link speed. And let's send that drone over to that third. So he's probably going to kill this, but actually there's no marine on the high ground, so we should be able to get back with our overlord to the pillar. And our lings hopefully can do some damage on the ground. Seeing a marine that early tells us there's not a reaper, because obviously it's one or the other. Inject. Inject. Third base. So it's 32 third base, remember guys? Same as we've always done. This is why I wanted to teach you guys this early, so that it doesn't change. Build the queen, and our lings are gonna attack. I didn't realize I didn't actually attack that. So we're gonna let those marines escape, but that's okay. I actually want to kill the reactor if possible, so we're just gonna attack that. And if we can kill these SCVs, that'd be great. Building a few more overlords at home, guys. And let's inject. I'll just A-move those, let them die, because I think we're getting a bit too far ahead off that right now. But what do we see, guys? Reactor, Hellions on the way. And a... Oh, and a Ghost Academy. Okay. Oh, that's really good that we got him with those lings then. Bit of a mistake for him to not just be able to defend that. Now, obviously, let's build Freddy Mercury right now. Let's put workers back on gas in the main. And guess what? That means we want all of these queens on the defense key. So they're all going to become the Freddy Mercury key, guys. We're just waiting for inject, creep tumor, inject. Notice we've got 2 mineral lines saturated, but we need to build some Zerglings because those Hellions could try to dive, right? So we're building 14 Zerglings for safety. Remember, we're building lings reactively now in our ZVP. We're not just by default building them, we're doing it reactively now. Because we know there's a Ghost Academy as well, I do think it could be Hellbats. So we're gonna go second gas and a Baneling Nest. We'll change the rally point in the main back, and I will try to build a few more drones, because I think it's very important to build 3 on minerals. 2 on guys. Inject. And I'm going to keep building Zerglings for now. Now, what would be really good against this style would be to counterattack. I'm not going to do that, because we're going to show you guys how to defend this front on. Now, he could go cloak, so we're going to build a single Spore Crawler. And other than that, we might want to pull all of our queens to the front as well. So at this point, he's being very annoying. Yeah, we're going to send lings, so we're just putting those on the backstab key. We don't quite have the Baneling Nest yet, so our lings are just going to hide, guys. Inject, add to your defense key. Inject, add to the defense key. Transfuse. Making some Banelings, making more Zerglings. And we're trying to run the drones away. Anytime there's just lone Hellbats or Ghosts, we can surround them, okay, guys? Otherwise, though, against the Hellbats, you do want to have the Banelings if possible. So I'm building 3 queens, a few more overlords, and a few more Zerglings to try and deal with this. These guys are still alive, and it looks like they're actually doing really well. That's fantastic. So any Hellbat timing, and we did talk about this earlier in the show as well, in the series. Any single Hellbat timing you play against, you always want to send lings across the map, because the more lings you have in a fight, the more they're clumping up to die to Hellbats. That's the main thing. That's the main thing that happens. And remember, Cloak is not really the big fear of the Ghost. It's mainly just artillery support for those Hellbats. If our Baneling Nest was earlier, it would have made our hold much easier. So I think we can definitely criticize ourselves and just say, hey man, why not just get that earlier next time? All right, so I have 3 defense queens. We're going to make it 4. We've got a new queen popping there and a new queen there. That'll be our injecting queens. This is just going to mean if there's another follow-up of the same sort of stuff, we're ready for it, okay? Now we're going to build a few more drones for this base. And hey, what have we not done yet? Everything, guys. So, sorry. Double hatch, double evo. Build a bunch of drones to replace that. As soon as we don't have a lair building, we can make a lair. There we go. Or have a queen building, I mean. Inject. We're going to just be building Zerglings for now as well. So let's select the hatcheries, shift 1, evo chambers on 0. Put some creep tumor down, put some fresh tumors down, and then bring those queens back to the front. Not only that, but let's go 4th base and 5th base, guys. If we can get all this production up, we're good. Now, while we're waiting, let's put lings out, and let's go for an Overseer Scout the moment our lair's done. Why? Because our opponent's already opened weird. We have no idea what the follow-up is, so it's just going to be a good idea. Now, look, I'm pretty close to my supply gap, so even pre-cycle, I just built a lot of Overlords. And now it's inject time. Few drones for this base, and the rest on Zergling. So we're just doing that Zergling Baneling style for now. Looks like more Hellbats are the thing. So we're going to make some Banelings here. Make sure we're kind of ready for that. Let's try and get these 1/1 upgrades. Now, I think this feels more like mech. The first attack, it was like an attack, right? But let's send the Overseer along the very top of the map to check, hey, what's your follow-up? And let's build the Roach Horn. Remember, we said just build Roaches versus mech. If they have a lot of Aliens or a lot of Widow Mines, it's going to make you much safer. Inject, inject, inject. And since I've got a pack of units for safety, I think we can drone. And remember, we want to drone versus mech quite hard. So we can change this rally point here. 2 gases. 2 gases. Shift 1. Shift 1. Spread creep. I'm doing it a little bit fast. I will try to slow down. We're still in Diamond 1. We're still not GM or Masters, so I'll slow down a little bit. Accidental idle worker there. Alright guys, so let's... How many drones we got? Build 3 drones. Build a drone. Build 3 drones. Pull off gas onto this one. Put these guys up there. Okay, inject, inject, inject. Let's build a big round of roaches, guys. As many roaches as we can. And then we want to go roach speed. And yeah, that looks like mech. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. Let's put these Banelings on a second army key so we can roll them into this. Let's get roach speed because I haven't started that yet. And nothing but Zerglings from here. We've already got the roaches on the way. Gonna make more Banelings. Control click, shift 3. How long till Bane speed's done? About 10 seconds. So we don't want to fight, guys. Just run away. Just run away. Run away. Spread the units out if you can. Just run away. Be so dumb to fight right before Bane speed. There we go. It's done. Now we just A move, and we want the Banelings to go in the middle of the Hellbats and the Ghosts. Everything else was already spread out a bit. It's already going to do its job. All you want to do, hand off the keyboard, just click the Banelings into that, and you should be good, okay? Because the Hellbats and the Ghosts were the most important thing, and Banelings wreck them. So behind it, we're going to A move to clean up the rally, maybe do some damage. We're not going to watch it. We're going to go build drones on gas, build drones on gas, and build some drones for the minerals. But mostly we can transfer workers for minerals, okay? Take another hatchery. And we can go range and melee now. And it looks like, okay, that counterattack's not going to work. Alright, alright. So we can probably just kill him with Ravager Bane now. We could go Swarm Host, guys, inject, inject, inject. But we're not going to bother. We're just going to go Roaches, Lings, Banes, and do it that way. So we've got Ling here. We've got a Ling there. I don't have a Ling right now, but let's just send a Roach to that top base. As long as he's only on 3 base, and I'm going up to a 6th base, I think we're in a pretty good spot, right? Now, if you're worried about getting harassed or anything, well, guess what? We're kind of crappy on our scouting. So actually, use deselecting. Do this more efficiently, guys. There, shift click. There, shift click. There, shift click. There, shift click. Let's respread our creep. Never respread the creep up here, so let's do that. Inject, inject, inject. I made Mass Roach, so all I need to make is Ling Bane to support it now. And he's trying to take that base, so that's a nice, easy target. However, why only attack from one side? Let's already prepare a backstab from the bottom. These guys can hit that weak natural wall. There's never a planetary on the 3rd or the natural, or very rarely. So those are always weak points that you want to try and take advantage of. Now, we've got also a lot of energy on these queens. Q5 injects. Go to the 5th base. Q5 injects. If you want, you could even queue a few across the macro hatches in the main. And try not to use those creep queens for 30 seconds because they're going to take a while to do that. Inject, 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 build Lings, build Banes. Let's make some Banes here because if we can get Banes in the mineral lines, that's going to be devastating. And I feel a little bit blind. Notice I don't have minimap vision, so we'll send a few more Lings out. And we can make a whole bunch of Banelings here, a few Overlords as well. I'm going to take these rocks down because attacking that area feels kind of awkward. So we'll take these rocks. We can also get an Overseer with them, an Overseer with my other squad as well. Nothing too important. Inject, inject, inject. I'm already maxed, guys, so, or supply booked at least. Okie doke, these guys can try to run in here. It's a lot of Lings. Let's try and smash those guys through the depot and then aim. So I've attacked the depot and then shift aim. Now let's go. See what we can do, guys. Try and box these Lings fast to go on the tanks and the Lings and stuff. Try to box the Banelings into the Hellbats if I can. Didn't use separate control groups for this one. Because remember, whenever we're managing multiple armies, we like to simplify things rather than overcomplicate it. Now, it looks like those guys, they're doing pretty good. They killed some depots, they killed some tanks. I can click the tank if I want. But units are already doing really well. If your units are already doing really well, build more Roaches, build more Zerglings, add them to your army key. Then we can be like, okay, cool. And look, he's trying to drop mules there, but you can see that we're all over it. He's trying to sneak command centers everywhere. This is something you want to be really wary of. There's a lot of players, so you want to go 2 upgrades in a long game versus mech. Burrow and Overlord speed. So this is another tactic we want to do, okay guys? So you want to go drop creep. And we want to click on all these bases. Shift deselect, shift deselect, shift deselect, shift deselect, shift deselect, shift deselect. So what I've just done is I've told guys to go take a dump on all of the bases. We need to kill that missile turret, of course. And that's going to stop him from retaking them. Now, also at this point, it's not that important to keep injecting. If I've got other things to look at, we don't need to, right? What's more important in these later stages of the game, when you're up on 80 drones, 75 drones, is... Whoa, what? All right, guys, let's bring the queens over here. Build some spores underneath. Let's drop a spire. What do we do? Inject, shift 4. Inject, shift 4. Inject, shift 4. And then we're going to aim move 4 down there. Build a few drones to replace the ones we're losing. That's always replace drones that you're losing, guys. Build a bunch of drones there. That's a lot of BCs. And we're going to build another spire in case this one dies. And because he's doing that, we need to aim move our ground army, right? We need to make sure we deal with that. So we're going to try to run in here. We're trying to attack. Obviously, it's a really awkward angle. We're going to squeeze around this. Squeeze, squeeze. Basically, he's got such a commitment to BCs that came out of nowhere and completely blindsided me. So, I mean, obviously we're going to take epic damage here. So I figured, well, he can't be doing that and defending on the ground. So we should be able to take care of this. So we should be able to just A-move those guys and then focus at home, which is, what is our focus at home? The BCs are running away, but even if they weren't, I build one more round of drones here. You don't want to build spores on every base because it kills so many workers, but I'm kind of trying to anyway. This is like a very risky proposition because I have to build like 17 spores to cover all my bases. You can do it if you want. And what we're going to do, guys, is you want the roaches on the SCVs. That's where the real money's at. So these guys, just get them in the mineral line and then A-move. If you A-move from over there, they're all attacking a refinery. But if you A-move them here, it's good. Now, he's got Raven. I was going to burrow to block the bases, guys. I guess I can do that on that one. Maybe I can do that one, but I don't think it's going to help. Most importantly, we built another backup spire as well. So we've got 2 spires coming up. Actually, maybe I didn't build a backup one, or if I did, it died. I meant to build a backup spire. We're going to build corruptors. And notice, because I built so many spores, I have no money to build corruptors. I've got 10 building. It should be enough, but you just got to be wary of the fact that if you build a billion spores everywhere, 3 BCs can still kill this mining base. So these 3 spores are almost worthless, and if you times that by 7 bases, that's 21 spore crawlers, 21 drones, and it doesn't actually protect the bases. So be very wary of relying on static. If your opponent's got multiple starport BC, large numbers of BCs, it's complementary. It's not going to get the job done on its own. Now notice, because these are together, we use rapid fire. And check it out, guys. We've got 18 corruptors, but I have nothing on the ground except this one roach, which I'm going to steal, by the way, onto a different key. So we're going to go into mass roach now, because I think 18 corruptors is enough. Essentially, 3 corruptors smash a BC. It can Yamato that, so you want to have 4 corruptors per BC. If he has 5 BCs, I think is probably more than he has. Probably he has 4. We've got 18. Should be enough. And we want to go hunt those down if we can. So we can seize down here. Let's clump up. We're building roaches behind it. Overlords, because I'm split. That's more BCs than I expected. How many? He's got 2 as well. Oh my lord. But I got 1. You can see the corruptors smash him, especially if he doesn't react in Yamato quickly. Then that can happen. We got rid of the Raven too. Whew. Okay, so we're going to get attack upgrades. You can get armor. Does help a lot as well. Let's queue up some injects. Let's move these guys out to this base. What's our drone? 86. So let's just check. Are these guys actually all mining okay? We can grab a few workers off these bases and put them here. Build that. So I'm going to build a few more corruptors, guys. And a lot more roaches. And then we're going to go just attack. Because he shouldn't have any mining, right? You see this guy's being a bit of a dickhead. Now, really good flexibility. I love the way he's swapped. The fact that he's had this much longevity in this game is so impressive to me. Now, notice I'm not rebuilding my injecting queens. You might be like, well, why not? Guys, we have like 8 hatcheries on our hotkeys. Everyone we build to take a new base is also producing. We've got enough lava, especially if we're not making Ling Bane. We're on Roach Corruptor, a more expensive comp. It's totally fine. So we're going to build a few more Corruptors up to 28, which is crazy because Corruptors aren't good at anything except killing the BCs, but we keep seeing more and more BCs, so I'm kind of okay with it. And I want to keep throwing units away. So A-move those in the mineral line, A-move these guys in the natural, A-move those guys. And what I'm dumping those guys. Alt 0, Alt 0, Alt 0. I don't plan to really command them off number 0. I just plan to try and do that. Now, where are those BCs? Okay, the BCs are there. So these guys, I'm going to cue them to run back and then shift A move back in here. These guys, I'm going to A move down there. And we're going to try and kill those BCs in a sec. But notice I'm just queuing roaches to throw away because I have a big income, he doesn't. And I figure he can't do this too well. So as long as my corruptors can come in, we should be good. Build a few more overlords, make a few more upgrades behind this, make an armor upgrade, get an infestation pit in case we need a hive, and let's see if we can kill some stuff. Okay, so check it out. He just teleported. You can see the direction they teleport, guys. Something a lot of people don't realize. Now, I just flew through Widow Mines and Thors. He's building the support to deal with the corruptors. So if I don't go kill them right now, he's going to get really safe. Now, we want to target fire if we can. Still building more corruptors, guys. And let's see if we can get one more. If he doesn't mass repair, we might be able to get it. Okay, bad fight, bad fight. But we've got more money, so it's okay. So we go back to 19 corruptors. Nothing but roaches on the ground for it. Let's keep taking gases as well, guys. Whenever you're in the late game, just take gases. Build a few more drones to go on those gases. As long as we keep our economy up here, he's going to be in big trouble. He's showing amazing ability to survive, real Florencio-esque stuff here. But that's okay. So what we're going to do, guys, we've got this one roach. He's going to attack the bottom. Shift A move, Alt 0. Another roach, attack the top, Shift 0. We've got a burrowed Zergling there. It's not quite blocking the base, sadly. And let's go for it. Now, our roaches should be able to kill his stuff as well, guys. We're also going to start mixing more banelings in and overseers. So overseers are really big because they allow us to see where those widow mines are. We're going to come in from this wide open area. And I'm going to try and spread some roaches in front to take those first widow miners. Just move these guys into the mineral line, guys. Move them into the mineral line. And the corruptors are going to go up here and hunt for these. So here we go. Let's spread the roaches out a little bit. These guys can take these widow mines. Oh, there's Thors in the open. Okay, perfect. So we can just move on top with these Thors. I'm not using the corruptors right now. We probably should try to send them in, see if we can catch the BCs. These guys are doing damage. Double tap B corruptor hotkey. So we're finding a few Vikings, which is awesome. A lot of Vikings, in fact. But we've got the corruptor advantage. Corruptors do fine 1-to-1 versus Vikings, guys. And look at that. Oh, Hellion run by. That's not good for us, guys. He's going to kill a lot of drones. So what am I doing? Build 10 drones. Click there. So I'm already building the drones to replace the drones that I know are going to die. My main army is going to kill his stuff, but I'm going to grab some of it. I'm going to A-move my whole army back, and then I'm going to box everything at the front and A-move it back to his main, and I'm going to dump it. So my control group, which I'm still rallying roaches and lings to, is combined with the guys that I'm bringing back to defend. But the rest of the army that I split off is just attacking on its own. Now, is it doing it the most efficiently? No. But that's okay, because I'm going to rebuild my economy. Every time you take damage, rebuild your economy. Let's rebuild that hatchery. What's our drone count? 85. Cool. All right, let's go back to doing good stuff on the front then. So this is what we're doing. Every time you rebuild that economy. And if they start doing Hellion harass, BC harass, okay, I'll build 2 spores and 2 spines at each base as well. But that requires building a lot more drones as well. And control click idle worker, click to new base. And here we go, guys. He's got so many orbitals he built. He's showing a lot of survivability as a mech player because he built a lot of orbitals. He's dropping a lot of mules. He's got a lot of sneaky bases. And Kilkenny there putting up an incredible fight with a lot of very wily and annoying mech play. GG, well played. Just really irritating play. Now, we got way ahead against the ghost timing. The fact that he kept switching what he was doing and doing annoying things, he gave himself a lot of chances for me to make mistakes and get back in the game. So really well played by him. But luckily, he let the Zerglings in at the start, and we saw the Ghost Academy, so we had an inkling of what was happening. However, despite that, I didn't speed my Baneling Nest up, right? I just went the normal Baneling Nest timing, and that made things harder than it needed to be. Having the Baneling Nest earlier, or having a lot more queens, either of those makes defending Hellbats a lot easier. Now, I didn't actually... we're not going heavy queens yet. We're going to save that for Masters League for the most part, guys. You know, going 7 queens every game and stuff. I was considering doing it today, and this was like, oh, are we going to start going 7-8 queens every game by default, you know? But we haven't actually done it just yet. So this was a pretty scary moment in the game, because there's a few, you know, queens get sniped by ghosts, Hellbats run in and start killing stuff. But remember the golden rule, pull back more of your banelings in a very safe location, pull your queens back, run your drones away. And only engage with Zerglings versus spread out individual units or 1 or 2 Hellbats at a time. Don't attack into 4 or 5 Hellbats because their splash damage will stack and the Lings will evaporate. Likewise, if you have an excess of Lings, send them across the map, because you might think this isn't doing anything, but at the very least, it stops these guys from all arriving on the front and reinforcing the push. Often they'll rally into those Zerglings, you'll get a lot of damage. As you see, we actually end up killing a lot of Hellions and Ghosts here, so it works out really well. I even get the Ghost on the ramp as well. So sending excess Lings across the map to backstab is always really effective. Diamond 1 players do make 7-8 queens. Yeah, you can do that. There's 2 different ways of playing, really. I don't think I said 7 queens, right? Yeah, I remember I was planning it yesterday, but I'm pretty sure I deleted it from notes. I'm like, let's hope I didn't accidentally put any notes in there. ZVT, 7 to 8 queens by default. Yeah, we'll probably boost up the minerals, be a bit less Baneling reliant once we get into Masters League. It's a very good way of playing, but you need to be organized with your queen control groups and stuff. How many Lings is a good rule to keep at home? Against the Hellbat timing? There's no rule. I mean, there's Hellbats coming in, you're pumping Zerglings. Obviously, queen production is pretty key as well. You're pumping Zerglings, you're pumping queens, you're doing what you can. So, I mean, in this game, I probably could have queued a few more queens a bit earlier as well. I was kind of relying on the Banelings, which is why I didn't build extra queens. But in hindsight, that's actually a big mistake I made here. Very good point, guys. When I saw the Hellions and the Ghosts, and I knew, okay, it's definitely like a Hellbat Ghost attack, I should have immediately been queuing 3 more queens. So remember, there's that maneuver I keep talking about where I go through my bases and I add the queens to my control group. I go inject, shift 4, inject, shift 4, inject, shift 4, and then I bring all my queens together at the front to help defend. I also should have selected my hatchery. I've got the minerals and go queen, 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 because more queens will definitely help you when you're in a pinch to defend. But how many Zerglings do you keep at home? You don't think about keeping Zerglings at home. It's just, oh, I have a lot of Zerglings and there's nothing they can do. I want to go for a backstab. So if I was really well prepared, if I saw the Ghost Academy, I was kind of playing as if I didn't see the Ghost Academy to make this harder for myself. But if you see the Ghost Academy and you assume this is happening, or you see an armory, having 10, 20, 30 Zerglings, however many, already waiting over here. So when you see him halfway across the map and then you backstab, that would be amazing. But you really just need enough Zerglings to morph into Banelings. And if you can make more Zerglings to help, that's great. But the Zerglings are never going to be the important part of the defense. So don't obsess over, oh, I need this many Zerglings at home and this many going across the map. It's like, that's... any Lings you have, it's hard to even find where to use them. So it's a big issue. If you're like, oh, I need 20 Zerglings. And it's like, well, they stay in a tight ball and the Lings have nothing they can do, right? So you can only really use the Lings effectively if they spread out. Which remember, he did when he moved in on the right side of this mineral line. So he's clumped. But even here, I could have sent Zerglings on those two, because he leaves those behind, right? And I do eventually realize that. After I'm just focused on morphing Banelings, and then we gonna go, oh, Hellbat on its own, easy kill. Hellbat on its own, easy kill. You see, Hellbats on their own really suck versus Lings. Pretty much anything on its own, getting surrounded by Zerglings is a terrible unit. That's, once they're all together, that's where splash damage is so scary. So scary. Well played by Kilkenny, though. Throwing the kitchen sink at us, really making us work for that one. And what a surprising battlecruiser swap. That was really well played, man. Yeah, you need to have the right mindset. I see you guys talking about, yeah. So basically, you've got to actually have clear systems that you're working on and practicing. But you do need to put in repetitions to learn it as well. It's so fascinating because I'm so much better at learning than I was when I was younger. So when I was first playing StarCraft, there was a lot of like, just keep playing and grinding and kind of figure it out as I go. Now when I play things, I'm a little bit more methodical, where there's always like, this is one pattern I need to like burn into my brain. Here's a stimulus, here's a response. Any game I play, because it's always, they do this, you do this. That's like most video games, right? And a lot of competitive activities in general. You do this, I do that. You do this, I do that. Like there's always like, or this situation, I do bam, bam, and then bam, and then bam, bam, bam. Here's my game plan, and then here's the reaction off it in this situation. Here's the reaction in this situation. Here's how I go back to my game plan. So it's really fascinating. It's like, okay, if this isn't working, I can try this or this. There's all these things you can memorize and remember. And yeah, it's very easy to just play something a lot and just go, let's see what happens. And you will improve at a glacial pace, right? Because the only problem solving and remembering patterns is happening on a semi-conscious level at best. And often what starts happening there is you become very irrational, I guess, subjective about how you perceive things. So when you're not analytical, something will happen to you, and then you'll over focus on that negative experience. So like, you know, the classic example in StarCraft is you die to a battlecruiser rush, so then you build 2 spore crawlers at 3 minutes in every base every game, and you have no economy, and you're like shooting yourself in the foot. But you're like, well, the battlecruiser. Like, if you don't take the time to analyze things, you draw a lot of wrong conclusions, and you enforce a lot of, and you know, you really reinforce a lot of bad habits. So definitely you need to put a lot of practice to grind the good habits out, because you need repetitions to make the muscle memory settle and make it feel natural and automatic, right? You want to remove decision making. You want things to just happen. You want to recognize the pattern and immediately know the response, right? You want to get rid of any delay in between. But yeah, it's fascinating how if you don't do any analysis or analytical stuff, you're often reinforcing the wrong response because you're not even understanding the pattern of what you're looking at. You're looking at one battlecruiser at 4 minutes, you're thinking it's the same as 3 battlecruisers at 8 minutes, when they're entirely different things and responses. People just go, I died battlecruisers, why are they unfair? And they don't tell you when it hit, how many bases they had. You know, they don't think about the context. They just focus on the painful thing of there's a stupid battlecruiser in my base. So that's, yeah, it's really fascinating how much faster you can learn if you've already learned something else to a pretty high level, I would say. Cryomancer, thanks for the 5-month resub, mate. Really appreciate it. This is why I always say coders, programmers, and musicians are people who are consistently very fast at learning StarCraft. Whereas a lot of people who haven't necessarily done either those 2 activities or any other level, you know, sport or certain thing that's, you know, to a high level, always struggle. And different people run into different obstacles, right? Like there's like Counter-Strike players who are very good at like practicing certain drills, but they're like not very good on the analytical side generally in terms of like big picture analysis, like the scope of understanding your build, things you can do, your opponent's build. They're often searching for like a simpler path, in my experience, to like, you do this, like they want it to be simpler sometimes, and they struggle with like just stepping back and looking at, okay, he's got this much economy, he's got these upgrades, let's just get a feel for where the things are in the game, and then we can start investigating decisions. Because Counter-Strike they're very good at learning the mechanics and the drills and the mouse accuracy, but they're not as good at the analytical side necessarily. And there's obviously massive stereotypes. All right, guys, we got a Zerg versus Zerg here. A lot of ZVZ today, and this is really good. Even if you guys don't like a certain matchup or it's not as exciting or whatever, it's really good to focus on it. And remember that if you get it a lot, it's a perfect opportunity to just practice and refine your basics and really get your build down tight. And I feel like we've been getting tighter and tighter with this Roach build. Our last ZVZ was such an easy win as well that, of course, we do want to try and just keep improving this and see if we can get more reps, more situations. We're doing Diamond 1 Bronze to GM for anyone just tuning in live on the stream. And we are a little short on Terran players today. Oh, I keep building my spawning pool late, but at least this time it won't be 19. It'll be 18's the fly. It's still late, but you know, baby steps. All right, guys, what can I say? I've never been a pro gamer or anything like that. What can I say? Executing a build order is hard. So that's a pool first build, but it doesn't really change much, guys. It's just pool. The gas is not super fast, so it doesn't matter. The gas is not started mining, which means this gas is the same time as hatch first. So I know that because the gas takes 25 seconds to build. It's just finishing now, which means it started at about 1:10, which is a standard hatch first gas timing. I know that's a lot of knowledge you guys don't necessarily have, but you can build it. And that tells us even if he goes for 4 or 6 Zerglings out of the spawning pool, that's fine. I can just build Zerglings once I see them coming out. And it's just 2 lings, so we only need 2 lings of our own. We'll be fine. Don't need to save lava for that or anything. There we go. We can go queen, and then queen and 2 Zerglings in a moment. Whereas if there was an earlier gas that was already mining when I got there, then there could be a really fast ling speed, right? That could actually be a big issue. So It's actually quite important to pay attention to these things as you get higher level in ZVZ. And our lings are a little late, so we might have had to fight with our drones. We didn't in this case. That's okay. Building more drones, building more drones. Oh, I didn't build my 28 Overlord, guys. So we're going to build a new Overlord, put that one out in the middle. Get back here. Get back here, you little poo heads. Oi! Oi! These lings, man. Inject. And that queen can go to the natural. So we've already got a new queen popping there. All right, guys, let's go double gas. And a spine crawler. And, oh, he did the queen trick. I wasn't watching, guys. That's all right. He's taking a third base, no worries. So, guys, what do we do when we start losing an Overlord? Remember, same as always, you just build an extra Overlord. Nice and early. And he's at least missing inject time to do this. The main thing is to not get distracted. It's really tempting to go, oh, stare at it, stare at it. Stop looking back at it, guys. It's not a big deal. Notice I'm already way ahead of supply anyway. So it's not like I took that much damage from it. We can just keep building an extra couple of Overlords at home. And we're good. Totally fine. So we can push back his Overlord. We don't want to commit too hard to that, though. We just go back, put a creep tumor down. And we do see ling speeds on the way in the main. That's all we're looking for. No worries. Lair and third gas. And we can go for the Evo Chamber Roach Horn, okay? Inject, inject, build drones, build Overlords. So we just want 2 drones on this base. That'll make it a grand total of 16. Put these guys on gas straight away. I feel like my opening's been a little bit sloppy this game, so I do need to focus. Let's Mineral Walk a drone to the third and then shift click it there. That'll allow it to phase through the hold position queen. All right. Build a few more drones and a few more Overlords, guys. Now, I could try to build a third base, but we see some lings coming, so I'm just going to hide that drone. Inject, inject. We're going to build a few more Overlords. Put one up there, one down here, one in the back. So this Overlord kind of replaced the vision out front. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. We can put an Overlord on the right in case units come out there. So now we're building roaches and sneak that third base up. I forgot to make +1 range, so it's only starting now. It's very late. We'll start roach speed now as well. Whoops. I don't know why my build's so off today, guys, in ZVZ. It feels like I'm a little unfocused in this matchup, so I'll try to pay a lot of attention and clean it up. Build roaches. We need a lot of Overlords, of course. Lings could cancel that third at any moment if he built a decent number of them, but looks like he didn't want to. If they build a lot of lings to cancel it, in a way it just weakens them against your roach attack, right? Because they're kind of building the wrong units for that. Was that more lings or was that an Overlord? That was an Overlord. Inject, inject. Build roaches, build roaches. Now, because +1's really late, we probably don't want to wait for it. On the other hand, that's a very important upgrade. And we haven't really seen anything of what's going on. We're very blind right now. So we're going to try and poke around with this Overlord, see, hey, are there any units? Is there anything we can see about what's happening? Building more roaches. And he's got roaches as well. So he's going Baneley Nest, but he's also going roaches, and he's killing his own building. So let's move across the map with roach speed. +1 will finish during the fighting. Inject, inject, inject. Build 8 more roaches. And behind that, you guys know the drill. Take a gas and drone up to 52 drones and then get +2 range after this, okay? For now, though, that's a pretty hefty roach force. Oh, that's a big ball of roaches, guys. Okay. That number looks bigger than my number. Therefore, we don't attack. We build 3 drones and do that. Now, what we can do, if we want to be fancy, is split roaches off for a little backstab. Because I have roach speed. I don't think he does. We can also be a bit cheeky and say, hey, kill the queen and then run away. Inject, inject, inject. 1 big round of drones. That's going to take us to 55 workers, which is a little more than I intended. That's okay. I'll take the 5th gas and we'll build some Ravagers then. So remember, 4 Ravagers is the right number to kill these Overlords, so we can start picking those off. These guys, we can see if we can like kill a drone. This is also important because it kind of scouts what's going on. We're just going to run away down to the bottom corner. Now remember, we're still all in. Kill that, and then move to the other Overlord. Inject, inject, inject. I forgot the +2. Let's start that. More roaches, more Overlords. Put guys on gas. We can also do a bonus trick. Just move a few drones, from the natural and the main to make it look like you've droned your third up a lot more than you have. Pile that bad boy. Oh, look at this, guys. He's coming to fight me. +2 is pretty far away, so that's definitely going to slow down my timing. Oh, so check it out. He split some roaches, guys. He was trying to do a backstab, but we're going to send our backstab in that was just hiding in the corner of the map. Inject, inject, inject. Okay, so he's trying to attack there. We're just going to put 3 roaches there in our dumping key, okay? And we're just going to shift-click those drones. A few of them. And while he's distracted, we try and ambush him. Remember, we don't focus on those other units at all. It's 4 roaches. If they just die, who cares? But by not focusing on them after setting up a distraction, we prioritize focusing on the more important thing. Inject, inject, inject. Build roaches. Check it out, guys. We can take about 7 of these guys. So we'll put 4 down here, 4 there. And you'll notice only building about 8 drones on minerals in your third works out, because as your main mine's out, you've still got a fully saturated base. So you would only need more drones at this point if you had a 4th base open and ready to mine. Now, we're almost maxed, so I think we're just going to go for it, guys. Build more roaches. Try and put these guys around. I'll make an overseer as well. I think a big fight's not a bad idea, guys. If you can heal the low hit point roaches by morphing them into Ravagers, then that's preferable. Try and take out a few more of these. He's got Overlord speed, which is very smart. So if they're doing what I'm doing, guys, you make Overlord speed, and you just patrol, 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 so your overlords can't get killed. Alright, let's go, guys. Now we're going to try and move forward to get a bit of a concave, okay? So notice I'm moving the wings of my roach army forward to get that concave. Now he's pulling back into a choke point. Rather than chasing him into it, I can just hold position back here. We can press hold position, split some roach ravager off to the right. So these guys here. So these guys, if he comes out to fight me, then we can fight him. But notice he's kind of got to attack out. We just want to keep it concave. We want to try and keep a big arc of units. These guys are doing crazy damage. We don't need so many over there. We can have more over here. And look what's exposed, guys. There's roach horn. Build more roaches behind us. No need to inject or micro. We can take out that one as well. I don't think he has +2, so we just killed his +2 that was upgrading. Third base is dead over there. Just keep microing. And look, if you isolate one half of his army, look at that. You can move on that half. And these other roaches rallying and aren't getting a fight. And then if he pulls back on that side, you change directions and you go the other way. Whenever you've got superior numbers like that, you're really good. I actually wasn't rallying my roaches across. Whoops. GG, well played. And really good play by him getting up enough roaches to defend my early attack. I think you guys would be surprised how often on the ladder you're going to play... how often you're going to play against people who obviously don't know what you're doing and don't actually prepare as much. Whereas he was reasonably well prepared. Now, he was trying to get to lurkers and hive and a 4th base, which is just a little bit too much. In Roach vs. Roach, generally speaking, committing hard to a timing attack is going to give you a much higher win chance than macroing up. If you watch a lot of pro play, you don't see as much 52 drone +1 roach timing go win the game. And the reason is, those pro players died to that 3,000 times through all of 2016 and 2017, till the point where the pros are so good at defending that sort of attack and getting a few more drones that they both don't go for the attack and they get a few more drones. He's like, oh, well, you got a few more drones, I'll get a few more drones. So there's an evolution over the years of practice where pro gamers don't do these strategies anymore because they spent years doing them to each other and getting really good at blocking them. So a lot of the times I see a lot of players out there on the ladder, Diamond Masters, whatever rank, just doing what pros do just because that's what they see them do. And I go, wait a second, you guys aren't good enough to defend a 52 or a 55 drone roach attack. Like, you can't go burrow, hive, lurker den, infestation pit, 4th base, 5th base. This is way too much stuff that isn't just roaches and ravagers. But that's something, and this is not a hate on Wurzelsept. This is something that a lot of players do, is they try to do a bit of everything at once. And remember, in StarCraft generally, you want to always have an attack timing in mind. You always want to have an attack that you're directly heading towards. And in ZVZ especially Roach vs. Roach, if you're like, oh, we'll just go to 70 drones, that's pretty safe against Terran and Protoss. It's like, if your opponent's on 50 drones, heck no. Like, you want to go at most 8 to 10 drones ahead of your opponent in ZVZ. Occasionally you see pros get away with a bit more than that, but it's always super hard for them to survive when the attack comes. Assuming you're both in an even position, a 10 worker lead, you get that, you go, sick, I've got a 10 worker lead, make army so I don't die. And there's a real urgency around that because Zerg attacks just come across the map like crazy. There have been a bit of a resurgence of big roach timing attacks and different big all-ins and things in pro level ZVZ. GG's. Alright guys, we've got a Zerg versus Protoss versus a 3900 Protoss player. We're still doing this drone scout. We're going to stop doing that in Masters League, but for now, I think that is still fantastic. Overlord's going to sit above our expansion for a little bit because it's a Protoss player, could cannon rush us. That can go there. Just make sure these workers are nicely doubled up. And here we go. Alright, get that hatchery down. Let's make sure all our camera locations are good, guys. Third base. Fourth base. Fifth base. Now, technically, you could block their base. Just keep in mind, about a minute 20 is when they get the money. Maybe 125 to build the Nexus. Okay, guys? I'm not going to do it. But yeah, you guys definitely can. See, minute 19 is when that went down. I believe means he's built it on 18 or 19. I think he's built that a few seconds early, which means he's cut a probe or two to get it down. Not really necessary. Alright guys, notice I've been prioritizing putting workers back on minerals rather than gas a little bit more today. About 19 Overlord, 19 or 20, doesn't really matter. And this next drone will mine out the gold minerals. Start opening that up, okay? Alright, let's build a queen. We'll build 2 lings. And remember, the Overlord's meant to go back out through the butt of their base. Build drones, build drones. This drone we can already control group, number 3. Send it to the third base, guys. Start pulling off gas. Start ling speed. Put these guys on minerals. Chase this probe. And 1 ling we're going to send around and into the base. Okay. Probe's running away. We can pull that back. Build another 2 lings. And it looks like no tech, guys. Of course, that's not real. Inject, inject. Let's take that third base. What do you mean that's not real, pig? Of course it's real. Latif is on the way to join Lizzie and Cersei. Looks like he did put some tech down in the main, just as we passed by. So we built the queen. We're putting an Overlord out front as well. Looks like a Zealot in the wall just stopped our Zergling. And that's a Twilight Council, guys. So it's not a Stargate build, which means we don't need to delay the second gas and Bailey Nest. We can just do the kind of standard version of the build. And look, there is an Adept there, guys. So once we've got this next Overlord out, let's build 2 more lings, just so we have plenty to deal with it. Inject, inject, and move that queen forward in case she does poke in. Just click your ling hotkey on that, and we should be fine. Oh, hello. All right, move those lings on top. And he kills the drone. That's fine. We replace the drone, build 3 more, click on the gas. Build 2 more queens, because it's Freddie Mercury time, guys. So these 2 can come down to the front. Latifah can go inject. So we've got Freddie Mercury already hotkeyed up. You guys know I like to just swap the keys around, the queens around for that. Rallying to that third, building drones. And remember, Freddie Mercury at 2 base saturation. We're delaying the second gas in the Baneling Nest now here in Diamond 1. We're building this full extra round of drones, extra Overlords, and now, about a full cycle later, we can go for it. So we're going to actually do the next macro cycle. We'll do that. Inject, inject. Hold down the drone key, Overlord, and now let's go second gas, Baneling Nest. Now that, you could argue, is a bit late if our opponents hit a really crisp Adept timing. But I think number 1, people aren't going to hit crisp Adept timings. Number 2, I think you can scramble with queens and lings pretty well. I could have injected with Latifah, but I forgot, guys, that she was already out. So that's all right. Should just put a creep tumor down. Put some creep out here. Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! What is that, guys? I think it's DTs again. Add to hotkey. Add to hotkey. Oh god! Oh god! Is it? Is it? Yeah, it's DTs. So our lings are going to try to lure them. Nope, that's not going to work. Okay, we can kill the prism. Kill the prism. Kill the prism. Ah! Oh, the DTs are here. The DTs are here. Kill, kill, kill. All right, we got one of them. We got one of them. Quick, build spores in the other bases. I didn't realize. I still haven't done that, guys. Ooh! Very greedy there, not having any spore crawlers ready, but we built them quickly enough when we saw the prism on the mini-map, and it was okay. We should have had these Zerglings out earlier for vision, and that would have given us a lot more time to respond. Inject, inject, inject. Build Overlords, build Zerglings for now. We've also got this drone idling. Put that back on mining. Let's go lair. And remember, guys, what do? Double Evo, double hatchery. So I'm going to take these 2 queens. That's Freddie Mercury. Remake that key, because the other queens have gone to inject. Spread creep. Spread creep. Move those queens back to a central location. Inject, inject, inject. Build 2 drones, build 2 drones. Notice I'm just fixing up my saturation. When there's been a mess early on, build those drones. Replace them all. New prisms coming to the main, so we're going to move Spore Crawler there. Let's try and get a 4th and a 5th base. And let's also build a Spore at the 5th. So these queens are going to defend the main. Actually, no, there they are. We're going to make some banelings. I still don't... He doesn't have a 3rd. Oh, he doesn't have a 3rd, guys. No 3rd base at 6 minutes. Remember, we're meant to drop a Roach Horn. So we're going to just attack the prism and try to stay on top so he can't drop the Archons without being surrounded, okay? Whew, inject, inject, inject. Take 2 gases, guys. Just drone the gas. Actually, don't even drone the gas. There's no reason to drone. Just use regular drones. We're 3 base versus 2 base. We're weird. Just build fighting units and don't die. If he's on 2 base, he needs to make a play happen, and he needs to do it right now. So we need to just survive. Killing those, you know, Archon, the single DT and the Prism early, slowed my opponent's build down. We'll send an Overseer through to check he's not, like, building Colossus or anything. But now the Roach tech's up. Game changer. Inject, inject, inject. And look, here we go. Zealot Archon's on the way. I'm trying to build Roaches right now. Unfortunately, my gas count sucks. I've got 1-1 on the way, and he's coming with a giant army. So we're going to give up this base, guys. Yeah. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to send some Lings to attack his wall off. We're going to put those on a backstab key. And we're going to try to make as many Banes as we can to kill these Zealots, okay? So the Queens are running back. We're going to move the Spore Crawler back. Inject, inject, inject. He left his door open, which is huge for me, guys. Don't smash the Banelings in until the Zealots pump up, guys. So, here we go. There we go. The Banelings blow up the Zealots, and we're going to try to defend, but that's still way too much stuff for us, so we need to just run away for now. Run, 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 run. And if you can pick off a unit or 2 at a time, that's good. But what do we need to do? Rally point change. So, all of these hatcheries, shift 1. Actually, oh, I didn't have those hatcheries hotkeyed. I gotta build Zerglings right now, guys. Run away, run away, run away. Ah! Okay, just 2 Archons and a rune I can fight, guys. I can kill 2 Archons. And then run away. And then run away. Run, 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 run. So notice we're trying to rally up there. Let's F2 down here, because I think we have enough units there to defend. Even though these guys are going to get killed, we're just going to run those around the top of the map. These guys seem to be winning. Keep building Roaches, and then Zerglings with whatever I can't afford on that, okay? Oh, 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 run, run, run. Don't fight that. Oh, he's got DTs, guys. Let's make some Overseers. Alright. Make more units. Run these guys away. So, I know this is pretty advanced micro. And this is all because we took way too long to go Roaches and get the gases. And we didn't cancel 1-1. If we cancelled 1-1, we actually could have made Roach Ravager and defended. So that was the huge tactical error. If you're Diamond 1, you lose this game 100%, and there's a very clear lesson. You see a big all incoming, don't make double upgrades, just make army and defend and survive. You make Roach Ravager, you cannot die. I showed you guys a very advanced scramble, which is not something everyone can do. It's very mechanical, a lot of experience with how I knew where to run, where to hide, all that sort of stuff. You guys can't always do that. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. And these guys can run back here, try and mine off that base. Maybe a few goes there, a few go there. These drones, I guess, can mine the main base. Yeah, these guys can all mine the main. And I mean, we should win from here because obviously he's on 2 base all in. But still very hectic. Let's make Baneling speed, make +1 range as well. and let's drone up our base. Build guys on gas, build guys on gas, build guys on minerals. Head to the hatchery hotkey. Prism's coming in, so let's send our army to respond. I don't have any queens, so I'm going to build 3 or 4 queens. GG, well played. Death Source there doing a beautiful attack, guys. Very nice. It was really late to the point where I was kind of like, this can't even be that scary, like this attack's so late. And then I saw the number of Archons and I was like, I may have underestimated my opponent. It was so many Archons. There was so many. So guys, once I realized just how scary that attack was when I saw it. So I saw it, let me show you guys the exact moment where we should have cancelled 1-1. I was like, I'm getting 4 gas. I'm going to start roaches. We'll do an overseer scout to check. That's a lot of gas being wasted. So check it out. We're gonna. Oh, he's moving out. And we're gonna see it in a moment. I'm like looking around, and then I'm like, okay, let's look at his army. And then I look up. This moment, I knew I'd done goofed. So all I need to do here is go, whoa, okay, that's more than I thought. Cancel 1-1. That's 250 gas. 10 roaches worth of gas. If I can make 10 more roaches right now, which I've got the lava for, it's a game changer. I could also start turning as many roaches into Ravagers as possible to really land biles on the Archons and the Immortals and set up more of a Lingbane flank for a surround. And that would have worked perfectly. So what I could have done is I could have split, you know, half the Lingbane to be behind the up here, half here. Still do the same thing where I've got to morph Banelings to deal with the Zealots. But it's not really the Zealots that are the issue. I just need about, 12, 13 Zealots, something like that, to deal with, say, 2 different clumps of Zealots that could come in. But I needed to be getting more Roaches out here to deal with those Archons. Even though Immortals wreck Roaches, you need Roaches to deal with the Archons, and preferably Ravagers. Now, we did do catastrophic damage here, and it looks like they eventually got cleaned up by DT. So good on him warping into DT. That could clean that up. But yeah, and then we basically split our army up. And this happened in Diamond 2 as well. I remember there was a game, I got surprised by an attack, and I split up and barely defended an attack that I shouldn't have been able to defend. And it was, in that case, it was because I didn't build Roaches at all. So I had to go for like the surround on a few Archons at a time. But if these guys are all together, if Death Source moves the Prism forward, stays together, there's nothing you can do. Just moves to the left, kills that base, moves to the right, goes for the tech. It's going to be game over. But remember, guys, double upgrades aren't important. Also, I forgot to hotkey my macro hatcheries. So these weren't producing until after poo-poo started to hit the fan. Definitely a big issue. Really well played by Death Source, but it just reminds us of that same thing. And remember, we missed this earlier, 6 minutes. No third base, build a Roach Horn. I was late to start the Roach Horn and the extra gases, so that's a big issue. Should we cut the Evos? You've already invested in the Evos, but yeah, as we just said, cancel the upgrades for sure. I mean, if you want to start it because you feel you can get away with it, but then you see the army and go, oh no, that's a pretty scary army. I felt ahead. So after shutting down the DT drop, the Dark Templar drop. So I was like, yeah, we can get 1-1. Changed my mind when I saw his army. But yeah, you could just not start the upgrades at all as by default if you want. Focus on the Roach Ravager. It's just good to double check what's happening, which is why we were morphing an Overseer as well. Now, guys, we were definitely caught off guard by the Dark Templar at the start, right? So we could have argued, well, you could send the Overlord back through to check for Dark Templar. Personally, though, if I see a Prism coming out or anything like that, I am basically going to be building Zerglings to help defend with my Queens, maybe morphing Banelings if it looks like there's a lot of Adepts. And if there's not a lot of Adepts, I'm going to assume it's Dark Templar, which is why the moment I saw this Prism, I was like, oh shit, you're coming for me, you know? And this was a well-timed Prism as well. What time did I see this, guys? See, I didn't see it till now. It was like 4:40, he's warping Dark Templar in my main, which is pretty good. I mean, he's a little slow on the warp in. Oh, he should have just warped in there. Oh, I think his Dark Shrine was late. If he warped in a little earlier, that would have been very scary. But any time, just noticing the Prism, spores build so quickly. If you're not ready, build 2. Now, I should have built 1 in the natural and preferably the 3rd as well once I realized what was up. But even just building those spores, yeah, we lose a few drones. It's not the end of the world by any means. You know, he goes in, goes out. He loses a Prism, 1 Dark Templar, has to recall the rest of it. And I moved a spore forward as well. We should be good. So definitely a situation where I felt ahead after that. And a lot of people would be like, why don't we build spores every game for safety and stuff? And the thing is, it's like, well, if you're playing against Archon drop 20-30% of your games? Sure. At high level, I play against Archon drop so rarely that I don't want to blindly build spores unless I've seen the Dark Shrine. But if you're playing against it a lot, definitely you could just build the spores. And when do we build the spores to be safe? 4 minutes 20 or 4:30 is usually safe versus an Archon drop. So if you're at 4 minutes 30 every game, start a spore crawler in each base. That'll usually keep you safe against this. Now, obviously, they could technically hit a pro gamer timing and get in there just before those spores are done. Most players, up until mid-time Masters, you could probably go 4 minutes 45, start a spore crawler and be fine. Which is actually what I ended up doing reactively here, is 4:45 spore crawler. It's going to keep you safe most of the time. I would never tell you to do this every game, though. Why? Because you can't be building safety in a meta where people aren't doing it. It's like, oh, I build spores every game in case they go Dark Templar. And it's like, okay, you look at your stats and you played 23 games versus Twilight Council and they were all Glaive Adept or Charge, never Dark Shrine. You shouldn't be building spores every game. This is what we call meta adjustments. This is where you have to adapt to the general patterns you're seeing on the ladder. And if once in a while you get caught off guard by something and you've got to have a good, quick reaction to deal with it, that's just StarCraft, baby. Either you accept, I'm not good enough for that situation, it happens rare enough, whatever, I'll take the loss. Or, even better, you go, there's a decent chance I'll lose to it, but let's remember the response. Drop spores, bam, bam, bam. Move units, lings and queens over. Drop extra spore if it's really surprising me. Then make a lair as well so I can make overseers. Continue with, okay, build. Oh, you know what? It's not actually that hard. I was way overestimating how scary these Dark Templar would be. And there's little things like the Overlord vision. So I'll have people, I'll explain this whole concept and they'll be like, Pig, DTs at every game for me. It's stupid that you don't teach people to build spores. This is bullshit. You know, your ladder experience, guys, I can't see what your ladder experience is. Maybe at 3 a.m. in Europe, everyone's Dark Templar rushing. I don't know. Maybe they're hiding a proxy in the corner of the map and you need to actually start checking for proxies a little bit more. There's a lot of things out there. You can't check for everything. You've only got so much mental bandwidth, right? If you're facing it a lot, start checking for those things. But what I often notice with those players, if I actually look at their replay, is there's huge gaps in their vision. They don't see the prism move out because they don't have lings out there. They don't have overlords around their base. So they don't even see the prism in their main warping in the Dark Templar until the Dark Templar are attacking. So remember, if you don't notice something until the battlecruiser teleports into your base, your scouting could probably be better. If you don't notice the Dark Templar until they're in all 3 mineral lines killing your drones, your scouting probably could have been better in general, right? So don't necessarily err on the side of building blind safety because of that one worst case scenario. If your Overlord sees the prism coming in, it gives you a 20-second timer to get a spore crawler built, which only takes 20 seconds. That's enough time. So that's where just having one quick response sometimes solves these very complicated issues. Spores are good versus Oracle too, which is super popular. Yeah, we scouted the Twilight Council though, so we knew it wasn't a Stargate opening. Yep. All right, guys, we're up against Sauerkraut here, and we're playing a Zerg versus Terran. Those rare Terrans have come out of the woodwork. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Let's get that 13 Overlord and go up there. And we can send this drone across the map. Check what's going on. Set up those camera locations. That's 5 bases. 15, please. I need to learn, says Ryan. Yeah, we're doing Bronze to GMs. I was actually just thinking that because I've been trying to learn the 15 hatch, 15 pool opening and get used to it, this is going to untrain a little bit of that muscle memory I'm trying to develop, but it is what it is. I want to teach you guys tried and tested builds. I don't think as safe as 15 hatch, 15 pool is, and as cool as it is, it's so different to all the normal openings. And we very well may just completely stop doing it a week or a month from now and say, no, it wasn't that good. It was kind of bad. And I don't want to be teaching something that I then, they're like, why does no one do the build anymore? I learned it from you and I thought it was really good. And I was like, yeah, we realized it was shit. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Guys, we are in Diamond, so we can start harassing a little bit with this drone. I'm not going to do much harassment, but start harassing in Diamond. And preferably you block the command center as well, okay? Alright guys, put this guy on minerals. And then the guy that returns home can go on gas, right? Actually, he won't get home for a long time. We can assume there's a command center anyway, guys. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put the Overlord out front of the base. It should see like Reapers coming our way, that sort of stuff. Overlord down here to spot the Reaper path. This guy out here. He's chasing me with a SCV. Interesting. Can mine a little bit of minerals and then go take our third base. So Reaper pops out at about 1:58 to 2:02, guys. We should be seeing it move across now, unless he's gone either Marine or Reactor first. Or maybe it goes out that way, actually. I'm not really sure on this map which path the Reaper naturally takes. We'll send this guy over to the third base. And remember, once you get 88, you can start pulling off. Those guys on minerals. Oh, no! Okay, guys. If they interrupt you, just grab a drone, take the gas, and then grab a drone, go out to the other base, okay? Alright. Now this drone can go back. If he abandons it, you just abandon this side, build the hatchery on the other side. Don't overcommit. He gets a Zergling kill for his troubles, but that's okay. He's probably mismacroing behind it. Shift 1, set the rally point. Let's get the Queen going. That's Latifah on the way. We'll get an Overlord out here. We need an Overlord to spot Hellions later on. We'll put these Lings over here in case the Reaper jumps into the main. And we're just droning on up. Remember, with our first lava inject, we want to put guys on gas in the main. Building drones, building Overlords. Big thanks, Susie, for the sub. Appreciate it, mate. So you see there, just rallying those guys onto the gas straight away. Very clean. Really nice. So notice we're saturated on 2 base, so immediately we're building Freddie Mercury, guys. Rallying to that third base. And that's the big change. That really is the big change. So these guys are both shift 4. So Lizzie and Cersei are both joining the Freddie Mercury key. And because we haven't seen Hellions yet, I was going to say we don't need... I was just going to build drones. Because we see 2 Hellions, I'll build a few Zerglings, okay? Now, there's an easy way to do it where you just build straight up to 20 Zerglings so you don't have to build anymore and then you can just focus on droning. We're doing it the slightly harder way where we're going to kind of steadily add them. Oh, build Overlords before they get roasted. Lava are very weak, but eggs are very tough, guys. So we quickly built Overlords there. Inject, inject, inject. Put another Queen there. If they've got Hellions, it's always nice to build a third Queen to join Freddie Mercury. This is like, what's his name? Rick something? The bassist in Queen? I always forget his name. Everyone does, poor guy. It's like a legend. And we're just like, yeah, who's that guy? Now, you also want to build spores at about 4:30 versus Terran if they've opened Hellions, because you want to assume there's probably Banshees, Liberator, or a Battlecruiser coming in. So you want to build a spore in each base, otherwise we're just droning. And remember, your Queens just follow wherever these Hellions go. So put the Overlords nice and far out so you can do that ahead of time. Spread your creep. And we go inject, inject, inject. Okay, guys, so check it out. What's next? We've got money, and you guys know what we do when we get money. Double macro hatch, double evo. Change the rally point back here. Oh, I forgot my second gas and baneling nest, guys. Oh, that's really late, guys. We were a bit distracted by these Hellions and explaining that concept of when to build Zerglings. Notice I built up to about 20 Lings a bit later. Brian May is his name. That's his name. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry, Brian. Anyway, guys, so we've got the second gas and the baneling nest quite late, which is not the end of the world. It really isn't. We've got these 3 Queens. You move them to wherever the Hellions are. Keep spreading creep everywhere if you can. Try to pull back to a more central location in between defenses. Otherwise, they can lure you off creep and dart around and kill your stuff. And remember, build guys for minerals, build guys for gas. And we've actually got a lot of drones. Oh, I just saw a Cloaky boys. I'm going to pretend I didn't see that because you guys will never notice that till you're way more experienced. Ah, what's happening? Well, I should have started my lair before starting 1-1 anyway, because that's just what we do with our build guys. We're going to bring all of our Queens up. This Queen's going to inject and then become the new... Cersei's going to become Lizzie. It's a bit of an usurper! Usurper! It's a usurper, right? Actually, I believe there's 2 different pronunciations for that, depending on where you are in the world. Anyways, 4th base is there. Looks like the 5th base got denied, so we'll try to take that again. And obviously, we want to get an Overseer with our Freddie Mercury Queens as quickly as we can, but because that's not up yet. Just replacing the drones, building lots of Overlords, and building lots of Zerglings right now. Now, I don't know if this is bio or mech, so we obviously want to scout for that. Shift 1, spread creep right to left, creep, creep, creep. All right, think we're good, guys. Add to hotkey. Build a spore crawler out there. Build a spore crawler on our third, and then we can run this one over there. Make sure that doesn't die. Oh, it is bio, guys. Okay, that's good to know. So we can get Baneling speed, and we can make a lot of Ling Bane. Now he's coming forward with an attack. So these guys, I'm going to send them down the right of the map to attack his natural. Everything else, defend. Inject, inject, inject. Build Lings, build Banes, lots and lots of Banes. Bring the Queens back here. Try to spread the creep. If you're super pro, pull these Overlords back so they don't die. We're going to, you know, we're trying to not be too super pro. We're building like 7 Overlords since we're losing some. Looks like those Zerglings got wrecked by Hellion Marine. It is what it is. But let's do it, guys. Queens can click on the Medivacs. And the Lings can go for a surround. We can spread creep. And then queue them back to safety. Oh. I'm gonna let those guys escape. Okay. Inject, inject, inject. Now we wanted to go Infestors, guys. Let's go for a lot of gases. So we want to go 5 gases for Infestor style. So we're just building extra drones for all these. Awesome. Other than that, it's just going to be starting 2-2 when we get the money and just keep on doing Ling Bane. Zerglings on the watchtowers. Oh, that's a pretty big army. Bane speed ready? Almost. We still don't have an Overseer, so let's make that Overseer. We're very gas starved, as you can see. And, oh my lord, so let's run away, guys. Queen can fight. We can try to defend with some Zerglings. Just try to spread the Zerglings out a little bit if we can. We lost the Queen, so rebuild it. Grab the drones. Back on gas. And if he's going to do that, we want to build extra spores. Inject, inject. And we've got the extra Queen, so let's inject the 4th, 5th base, and the macro hatcheries, yeah? Let's get +2 on the way. Make more Ling Bane. And it's time to start doing run guys. So we're going to send some Ling Bane down the far left. Right, sorry. Some down the far left. We're going to keep trying to spread this creep wherever we can. It's a really big map. So creep spread, it feels daunting, but the earlier and the more you spread it, the more effect you're going to have. Okay, we're just going to send 1 Zergling in. I'm building more Overlords and more Zerglings behind this. And okay, let's get that before it finishes, yeah? Okay. So just go in for the surround, A-move it. Click some Lings on the command center because they won't target it until it's finished. And these Banelings can click in the middle line, okay? Let's go for a few Infestors. We're going to make 3 Infestors. We're just going to give that base up, guys. No need to defend that. We're going to build drones for this base. We're going to grab a new big backstab key. It's going to be used to defend this drop first of all. We're just going to make lots of Banes here. We've already got the gas on the other stuff, so we're looking pretty good. These guys can hide off on the right side. Okay, we're going to just attack the Queen onto the medevac. And our Ling Bane will get up to the high ground to defend, okay? These guys are going to pull back. Let's try and inject, inject, inject. Now, because I lost that base, we definitely need more hatcheries, okay? So let's take a few drones from the main, a few drones from there. Put them on that base. And I'm going to regroup my whole army together. I'm also going to just send a few Lings down the left because I don't know. We're just dumping these units, but we're just kind of trying to get a bit of map vision. So, okay, so we can see we need a drop defense squad on the left. The main army is going to go to the right. And these guys are still just basically going to be backstabbing constantly, trying to deny this expansion. I think he probably has the bottom left base, but that's okay. These guys being as annoying as we possibly can. Okay, so what you want to do against Widow Mines, guys, is you want to pull your units forward and your other guys back if they're too pumped up. And we apparently don't have Overseers on that. Wow, he's setting up really well. We need Overlord speed. Okay. Now, one thing you can do if you forgot Overseers like we did, do you want to get 3 Banelings, guys? You just go boom boom. And that'll take that out. I did not see experience pop up. What the why is experience not popping up? What? Someone changed my settings on my computer. How did I not realize that till now? Okay. Infestors, we need more Banelings. This is a scary attack, so we're going to try and counterattack, because that's what you want to do against Widow Mines. Guys, you don't want to fight front on. Let's take all these drones. Take the gases and try to take the hatcheries on the right side. Oh, he doesn't have a 4th. He's on 3 base. Okay, this is much more committed than we realized, guys. So what we want to do is when he comes forward like that, roll in and then immediately run away. Run away, run away, run away, run away. And just keep making Ling Bane and just survive. Our economy is not great. 67 workers. Inject, inject, inject. Queue some injects there as well as on these macro hatcheries. Got extra workers there. Let's go down here, put on gas. Trying to take this. And let's try to retake these hatcheries in the top left as well. We're also then going to respread creep, of course. Left to right. So we put fresh tumors on the left. We've already got active tumors on the right. We're going to put lings on the towers. And our infestors would be great to ambush our opponent's units. But so it looks like he's still up there. Double drop is coming down there. So we're going to take some units and put them on drop defense in the bottom right. It looks like, okay, it was just a Widow Mine over here, guys. Oh. So single Widow Mines are a problem. You definitely want to just spread shit through them wherever possible. We're going to just dump some Zerglings. So these guys, Alt 0, and bring the army back, okay? Oh, there we go. More Widow Mines. If you can manually spread, it's good. But best is if you see Widow Mine somewhere, just spread units on them, guys. And just click on a Widow Mine at the front before running away, okay? Here you go. Just by move commanding on top, rather than letting your units just go, we drag the Widow Mine onto his units as much as our own. Inject, inject. No inject available. I don't know where his drop is, guys. So we're just going to track that one. Alright, this Ling Bane's going to go up into the main. Oh no, he's dropping there, is he? So we want the queen to click on the medevac. Oh, this base is in trouble, guys. So he's really good at pre-spreading, so we need to just keep attacking where he isn't. So we're just going to A-move all of our Zerglings to the other side of the map. Because this is just... He's basically trying to bait us into fighting into bad positions. So we need to be really patient and wait for him to screw the pooch. And he will. Just keep splitting these lings off, guys. Keep splitting the lings into his base, and they will do the Lord's work. Now, we can't take out the planetary. That's too much for us. Does he have 3-3 maybe? Let's make a hive just in case. Alright, I'm going to make more queens. And so all my queens that I've got out, I'm adding to Freddie Mercury key, and we're just queuing injects on whatever we can. Because this is so annoying. We're also building spores. And we're going to try and take these bases for the 50th time on this left side, okay? I'm also going to build 16 drones for that base. We're going to check our work account and go, yeah. Try and build about 10 for that base. And we're just going to play a scrappy game, because that's what he's doing. So morph Banelings, click him in the base. Make more Ling Bane, click him in the base, right? That's what we're doing. Now, because he's not doing any one big frontal dedicated push, he's just going around the flank, setting up a spread, and not really committing. I can't use the infestors. They're waiting for him to screw up, and I don't have the opportunity. But I don't want to lose this base, so I'm going to leave them on the right of the map. And if he pushes in there, maybe they do some good stuff. You can see we didn't get too much done there, guys. That's okay. We're going to send enough Banelings down that right side. Oh, okay. Run these drones away. So that Ling Bane squad can deal with it. And let's build spores. Remember, spores. Rebuild the drones. We already built some up there. Finally, we're dealing with that. And then those guys, we're shift A moving because we want to morph enough Banelings to just blow up the planetary, okay? Our main army, on the other hand, is going down the right side. Let's inject a little bit, yeah? Oh, the left side is what I meant, not right. I'm misspeaking a little bit. Apologies for that, guys. All right, the infestors are going to come up here to help defend because he's getting impatient and he wants to throw the game away. So we've got to give him that opportunity. This is like really crucial. So we're going to just send 2 lings over here, guys. Make sure we have enough Banelings to blow that planetary up. The infestors are here. Okay, let's try and, remember, blow up the guys at the front. Maybe throw a fungal. And then run away. Run away. Don't keep chasing into it because we know he has Widow Mines. We can't fight that. So we have to go like this. Okay, we're going to blow up the planetary. We find an army in the open. That'll do. Okay, we're going to move right in and go for the surround. Back at home. Just checking what's going on. Click that. Please die. Please die. Oh, thank God. Okay, guys. Looks like we have some Zerglings there. Alt 0, so they're not on my army key. And I can go back to defending. I don't know what's going on at home. I need 3/3 though, and adrenal glands, okay, to make my lings able to compete. And we're just trying to make Zerglings. This is so stressful. I am getting overwhelmed. This diamond player is kicking my ass right now. He's doing really good because he's just not giving me the fight I want, where his units come forward and clump into my stuff, right? He's just refusing to be an idiot, which is really un-diamond-esque. I'm an idiot usually when I play at GM, guys. This guy's freaking insane. So what we're going to do now is, this is what we call the roly-poly. You just grab a pack of banelings, and when they're not looking, you just roll it into their biomine spread. And if they're not watching, it usually trades pretty well. As long as we just keep making more banelings, we'll be good. And notice I've split these guys down here again, because we once again want to blow off his planetary. So we're going to go in, and we're just going to try and kill the planetary. I don't know if we're going to get it or not. Oh my god, we're not! Okay, I need to get rid of this army on the left side then, guys. We're going to just spread some lings through, drop some fungals. Maybe chain the fungals? I don't know if it's enough to actually kill any of these medevacs. Probably not. Oh, that was really bad. But it's okay. As long as you keep macroing, guys. Remember what I always say. Just keep macroing. All right, so we've got extra workers on all these bases. Move them to the top left. Build drones. Build a big round of drones for this base as well. Everything else now, focus on that left, on that right side. Defend that right side. Come on, where are you? Where are you, buddy? Okay, so he's there. He's there, right? Okay, cool, cool, cool. So we're gonna drop changelings. And you just control click him, move him forward so we have some vision, okay? So we want to just do the... Oh, okay. Look at this guy. All right, this is really bad. We're gonna take these guys and just attack his production. Because if he's able to set up like this, we can't fight into that. We can't. So once again, guys, what do? The same thing that's been winning us this whole game. Just go around. Just go around. Get in there. Get some lings on that mineral line. Get the damage done. And then he's going to get impatient and push in. This is where we can get some juicies. So we're also going to just spread some Ling Bane through his shit. And we're just massing Ling Bane behind it, guys. Hopefully, you know, notice how the micro we do when we're fighting, we're just spreading units forward, spreading units forward. Is that a planetary now? It is. Let's try and fungal these medevacs down. All right, let's pull back, pull back, pull back. These planetaries are just a little bit too strong for us. Let's get that ultra cavern we should have had a while ago. Inject, inject, inject. Let's build a few more infestors. So remember, we're trying to use infestors in ZVT versus bio and show you guys that. Add all these hatcheries to our hotkey. Add all these hatcheries. I'm going to go back and do that again. I did that so fast. I'm going to do it again. Shift 1, Shift 1, Shift 1, and just rally them all to a base that's not saturated yet. What's that? Okay, check it. We're just going to grab some lings, A-move them there, Alt-0. Remember, that's our key. And you can see it's an orbital he's moving there, so it's even more exposed to that. If we can just remove this planetary and this one on the left is way too exposed. This is going to win us the game for sure. All right. So, if you've got changelings, that's amazing, guys. Just move them forward so you get vision everywhere. Use the deselect, use the deselect. They need to manually click those, which is a nightmare for them to deal with. All right, let's do it. We can move in and then A-move. You could click it as well, actually, just to get rid of it nice and quick. More lings, more lings, more lings. Move to the back, move to the back. This is such sick macro and multi-prong. Sauerkraut doesn't have 3/3. Guys, we're going to take lings and attack that left side again. These drones are going to have to give up this base. These lings will defend that and then attack his base, okay? Did we get kindness plating? We did. Let's start synthesis.
I want you to fall in my bed like rain.
And
like when it's the wet season at
very
my
well played by
farm.
Sauerkraut. Okay. So now if we take out this planetary, that's his last bastion of economy, guys. But he's going to attack me, so we're going to focus on defending. So Alt-0, and these guys are going to, once again, attack the production. Okay, shift-click. He sees me going that way as well. He knows that I'm going that way. He's going to try and punish me. So he runs into me here. Run away. I think we give up this base, guys. Look at how good, how heavy his Marauder count is. Just run away. Run all these drones away to the top left. Pull back. And make him attack into me. Anytime he's watching, I run backwards. When he's not watching, I run forwards and punish him for not watching. Then he starts watching, running backwards, spreading, I run away. So notice there's a real pattern to this. It's just a rhythm you get into. Now, I've messed up a lot this game because we let him get a lot of forward positions that made it really difficult for me to keep this up. We're going to go back in the replay and break down why this got so hard. and how we needed to just keep doing this like crazy because of that. But you can see here these bases are all struggling. So we'll pull those guys back now. Those lings will die, but they're all on Alt 7 now. So stolen onto Group 7, stolen onto Group 7. Spore crawlers are going to do well there. Let's retake that hatchery. Let's control click idle worker. Click them there. Just check all these bases. How are we doing? A few too many workers there as well. Click them down. Send some lings there. Okay. Alright, let's go, guys. These lings are going to just go up into the main again, and the Ultra Bane will take out this last mining base. Alright. That's just going to be click on it, no worries, just take it out. And you can see my Ling Bane in the left is going to get hammered. Give it up. Give up ground. Run away, run away, run away. The real trick to defeating Widow Mines is roll Banelings into them every now and then when they're all clumped up, and otherwise just go around and fight elsewhere. Just go around and fight elsewhere. Once the Ultras are out, you can take front-on fights a lot more, but because the Marauder count's so hefty, we don't want to do that. That's why I've not been doing this. Now, every bit of depot, infrastructure, production you kill is absolutely massive, guys. It is huge. And, oh my lord. Oh my lord. Run! Just trying to kill these last buildings. Let's run down to this corner. We'll take that corner base. Cue those workers to mine from it. Just making sure those drones get to safety, essentially. Woo! GG, well played! Oh my god, he played so good. That was so hard. That was insane. Guys, that game was not meant to go that long, so an ad auto-played. I did not think that would go that long. My bad. I'm so sorry for the live viewers that got hit by an ad towards the end of that game. I apologize. He had great macro, good drops as well. Things like Widowmine drops to disrupt. That was insane. So let's go back in this game and talk a little bit about where things got very difficult for us.
Thanks for the Bezos bucks.
I think the early game, was this okay? I mean, definitely wasn't as big an economy as we probably could have built, right? The Banshees denied the 4th base going down at first. He did some good damage. And then he kept his Hellions at home and shut down the Ling run by. Super pro gamer moves. Really tight play by Sauerkraut. Really well done. I'm very impressed. Still no Spire? Yeah, you could go Spire in this game for sure. But just Spores and Queens can defend as well. Like, if your opponent's very drop heavy, Spire's obviously way easier for shutting it down. He did stop dropping though. If he kept dropping later on, I would have probably kept going. I probably would have tried to get a Spire. His macro was perfect. Only mistake he made was the 6 gas. Yeah, and he crushed that Zergling attack like crazy as well. Because I was like, oh, I see his army coming down. We'll aim move and catch him off guard. He's got like a rally of Marines, Hellions, pulls the SCVs, so he didn't even need to, I guess. Really well played, Sauerkraut. You savage, dude. Oh, man. No reason to make 6 gas. You'll just bank gas. Especially with Widow Mines. If you're someone who really likes tanks and you go double factory pretty early, siege tanks, then you can definitely take advantage of it. But yeah, as Asherbro says there as well in chat, 5 gas for Widow Mines is fine. Sometimes you can get away with 4 gases depending on how tight your upgrade timings are. Yeah, Widow Mine dropping while Parade pushing the left side. This was wild. Really good play, man. Obviously I should have been trying to take advantage with more backstabs. After that first one got stopped, I stopped counterattacking, and I think it's just there was a part of me that was shocked that he was so good at setting up his spreads, not going on creep, setting up Widow Mines, all that sort of stuff. He's also spending his gas really well, apparently. Yeah, non-stop medevac production, I guess. Sick as. Yeah, I think definitely just be careful. If they are prepared for your backstabs, you might need to monitor your Ling Bane. But otherwise, I definitely still should be Ling Bane backstabbing here. And going up to 5 gas and an infestation pit is cool. But I think also there's something else we're learning here, which is at this point, I'm letting myself get way too outscaled economically, and any economic damage like this is really hurting. So we need to remember in ZVT to do some stuff. All right, ZVT, crazy epic game, altitude versus sauerkraut. Did I spell that right? I'm pretty sure I didn't, but whatever. If you're not, if you're not able to smash with your 1/1 Ling Bane attack, or, it goes past that, remember to drone your 4th. One big round of 16 drones take you from 63 workers to 79 and allow you to contest a Terran that's going, 4th CC, 2nd factory, 8 racks, all that stuff. In a more action-packed game, you can probably stay 63 workers, right? 3 mineral lines, 5 gases, for a lot longer. But if they are macroing well, those extra 16 drones will be massive. Yeah. What do you do if they block both your 3rds with a Reaper and SCV? Yeah, well, your drone can kill the SCV, and your Lings can also kill the Reaper or kill the SCV or go across the map and kill their stuff. Often a bit of both. Yeah, if someone gets fancy like that, I mean, you can just steal the gas on both bases while your Lings kill all their stuff. They should end up way behind. They should end up way behind doing the double block, but most Zergs panic, lose one drone, lose another drone. The Lings just sit in their natural doing nothing. So as long as you send your Lings out, you can clear it. They can clear the SCV up. I would probably go 2 Zerglings on the SCV, 2 Zerglings across the map, and then just micro my drones and keep injecting and, spending my money, and I'll be good. Captain Crunchy Gum, thanks for the Prime Gaming sub, dude. Leroy with the 9-month resub. So that lack of drones was huge, guys. Just because they keep just because they blocked a backstab doesn't mean they'll keep blocking them. Escalate. Especially versus Widow Mines, this is not a choice. It's a necessity. Like, you need to do this. Because I took so long to set up extra Widow Mine, or extra Ling Bane attacks, and he did such a good job of, stressing me out, and my creep spread stopped, and I was getting bases denied, and it really limited what I could do in the game. So this was just really well played. He sets up these areas that are very hard for me to deal with, and I did, eventually go across with some Ling Bane, and this was crucial. I mean, if I didn't do this Ling Bane counter, if I let him get this 4th established, we would have been in huge trouble. Did these Banelings get any more, by the way? Because I clicked them into the mineral line here. I had no idea. And if I microed it, I could have got another 10 SCVs there as well. Guys, if you're just clicking Banelings and looking away, click them where the workers are. This is a golden rule of StarCraft. You gotta multitask, keep clicking Banelings into workers, and you will win the game. You will win the game. Who's Sauerkraut in chat, by the way? Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm not playing the most clean game, guys. So I don't think Sauerkraut's actually like a GM player or anything like that. But definitely did very good at keeping pace and really applying pressure in multiple areas and doing a lot of things. So definitely played very well. He's probably watching, but he hasn't actually said who he is. Oh, no worries. That's fine. You don't have to reveal who you are, Sauerkraut. It's all good. So, yeah. Yeah, him losing... He took a long time to replace the 4th. So he was pretty tunnel visioned here. 3 base all in. Remember, I actually thought I'd lost at some point, and then I scouted and was like, wait, there's still no 4th base? And I was like, oh, you're way more committed than I actually realized. Now, there's a few things here with the Widow Mines, guys. So when you're engaging into Widow Mines, you want to be pulling your units forwards into it, right? So say his army's spread here, and I'm attacking from this ramp. I want to grab my Zerglings at the front. Imagine these Marines are Zerglings. Click here. Grab these guys, click here. Try and move diagonally forward through the Widow Mines is what you want to do. So they've got Widow Mines. You've got your big blob of Ling Bane. You want to pull it that way, and that way. Why? Because if you just click forward, they're all in one clump. And the Widow Mines, yeah, they might hit the enemy, but they're also going to hit your Lings. But if you grab just this front little section of your Zerglings, move them that way, this front section of Zerglings, move them that way, and this front section of Zerglings, then basically you're luring the Widow Mines away from the big clump of slow Banelings that's coming in behind. You do not want your roly-poly green Banelings all rolling in a big lump. You want the Widow Mines to have already fired on their own Zerglings. So if you can do 2 boxes, that's fine. If you can box, you just A move, box a few Zerglings at the front, click them one way, a few Zerglings the other way. If your units are clumping up and you do it another time, that's bonus points. But for most players, they don't do it at all. They just panic, and what they start doing is they start trying to individually click Zerglings. They're like, oh, you bait a Widow Mine. Don't fucking... The only time you want to individually use Zerglings is if there's just Widow Mines on their own. Okay, I'll move 2 Lings forward, set them off. You can't do that when there's an army nearby. Likewise, I see a lot of people run in with the ball and then try to pull their ball back and just leave a few units running forward. And that's really dangerous, because if you accidentally get a Widow Mine tracking onto you, you're going to be so clumped up for that Widow Mine shot, and you're going to give them the biggest shot that they've ever had in their life. You're going to deliver them the largest load of Ling Bane. They're going to be very happy about that. So we kept doing run-bys and giving up bases, because if we fought into his spread of Biomine with Marauders and Hellbats and better upgrades, we would have lost this game for sure. So I backstabbed, and then after backstabbing, I backstabbed some more. After that, I backstabbed some more. And this was the attack where I found out there was no 4th, and I went, oh, we're fine, we're okay. I'm not dead in this game, we're okay. So I migrated my economy to the right side. I even took this hatchery. And my Infestors hadn't really found a use, but a lot of Terrans, when you backstab like this, will shove on creep and try to punish you, and that's where Fungal ruins everything. That's where Fungal will just ruin everything, guys. He didn't do it. StarCraft was more of a harass, set up the push, set up the spread. Wait for you to make the bad decision. I refused to make that bad decision. Even though I was losing bases and losing skirmishes, we refused to make that decision. And look, there's a bunch of Widow Mines that get big hits. Don't tunnel vision on it. Too many players get traumatized by 1 or 2 good Widow Mine hits and think the game's over. It's never over. You're Zerg. You have thousands of minerals in the bank. The number of players who I've heard say, oh, 1 Widow Mine shot and I lose the game, and I look at their game and they have 4,000 minerals. I'm like, you know, if you spend that 4,000 minerals, it's 4 Zerglings per 100 minerals. That's 160 more Zerglings you could have, right? And they're like, no, well, no. And I'm like, no. Shh. Shh. Silence. Because we lost a lot of queens and we were a bit busy defending, I didn't get to stack as many injects. And like this hatchery, I'd queued a lot of my injects on. So my lava was very low this game, specifically because of that. Otherwise, we would have been able to spend our money a little bit better. We definitely could have been building those Zerglings a bit more frequently. But notice once he kept dropping, we started building more and more Spore Crawlers. We should have had a Spore Crawler down here. It would have defended this a lot better. I messed up my control groups. I got confused and forgot that this was my number 7, not my number 2. So I sent them in a bit late and took a bit more damage than I should have. But the Lings are once again in on his base, doing great damage. And we just keep doing this over and over again. And it's so bloody effective. Just keep backstabbing, because you got to understand how much APM the Terran needs to spread the bio out and fire all their Widow Mines in a nice setup. To run backwards from Banelings and spread and stim, it costs so much attention. And if you let the Terran set up this slow methodical push and then you attack into it like a baboon, Terran feels really overpowered. But I guarantee you, if you play from the Terran side, you spend all that time setting up the beautiful spready out of Biomine, and the Zerg's like, nah, I'll just go take the bottom right, and just doesn't fight you. It's so frustrating. And then they just grab their Ling Bane and A-move it across the map. It's bullshit. bullshit. Guys, remember, for everything you get annoyed at, the other faction gets just as annoyed because you guys have some broken stuff as well. That's just how StarCraft works. So embrace and understand how you can make your opponent's life difficult just as they're making your life difficult. And think about it from what they want to achieve by making your life difficult. They want you to stress out from these drops and just panic, stop rebuilding your economy, start A-moving into their pre-spread of biomine, and throw the game away. But if you just kind of rebuild the economy, add some spores so the next drop doesn't do damage, do another backstab to force him home, give up this base. Oh, his army's there, didn't see it coming, just give it up. Lose some drones, lose a hatchery, it's fine. But the moment you're like, I need to kill army now. Remember what we've been teaching with Ling Bane this whole time. If their army's too good, go around and backstab. This whole Bronze to GM has me been secretly teaching you guys from the get-go how to be good at Zerg versus Terran. That's the wool I pulled over your eyes. This is the trick. I was like, oh, Ling Bane's just a fun style. Secretly, I was preparing you the whole time to play macro versus bio, Zerg versus Terran Ling Bane. This is exactly what I've secretly been preparing everyone for that's been following this Bronze to GM. It's literally getting ready to naturally backstab. And think of this as a natural way of playing Zerg is, oh, me not just headbutt with Roach, me backstab with Ling Bane. Ooh, tactics. Tactics. So yeah. Good fun, guys. That was not good, guys. That was not good. That was #1 bad move of the game. So, remember, just don't make the bad move. So remember, guys, when you're analyzing replays, you got to look at the bad move and go, don't do the bad move. And that's where you should cut it off. You should be a simpleton who doesn't actually do numbers or analysis. Or, wait. If there's a planetary with bio defending it, make sure you have enough banelings to actually pop the planetary. Now, 80 damage per baneling. Planetary has 1500 hit points. It also has armor as well, actually. So it's does it get affected by armor, the 80 damage? Wait, it does 90? No, it only does 80. There's no way. There's no way that changed. That tooltip's broken, right? Have I been saying this the whole time and it's always been 90? No, that's 80. Right? Or is that 90 minus 3? Wait. Okay, I think there's only one baneling left here. There's only one baneling left here, guys. 618 life. Down to like 520. It's hard to tell with only a baneling. Wait, was a baneling always 90? I always thought it was 80. Has it been 90 this whole time? Anyways, point being, it takes like something like 18 or 20 banelings to blow up a command center. You have +2 attack. Wait, does attack upgrades affect banelings? It doesn't affect their building damage, does it? I didn't think it affected their building damage. Let's check. I had no idea, guys. Baneling's gonna finish just before +1 melee finishes, guys. Oh, it actually does get bonuses from attack upgrades. +5 per upgrade. I had no idea. Oh, I didn't even know that. Oh, that's interesting. So is this affected by armor? I assume it is then. I don't know for sure. Either way, that's cool. Anyway, point being, it takes a ton of banelings to kill a planetary. Don't just let them all blow up on a planet. Go in with an overwhelming force. Whenever you attack a planetary, only do it if you've got an overwhelming force. You can do it with like 30 Zerglings and 10 banelings if there's nothing else nearby. But you need to make sure the banelings move into the mineral line and blow up the planetary from the inside so it can't get repaired. Because obviously if it's getting repaired and your banelings just blow up on that side, that's a real bummer. I thought baneling splash ignores armor. Nope. Nope, their normal attack is affected by armor. Yeah. Not sure about it with buildings. But, let's go back to my first big run by over here, I guess. Now I'm so curious, I have to check. Alright, so one of these is probably going to get blown up next to these buildings, right? Are these buildings? Nope. Okay, so 2 banelings just got set off and they did 170 damage. 85 damage each, so they are unaffected by armor. Okay, so banelings are unaffected by building armor, guys. Cool. So yeah, depending on your attack upgrade, just think of it. Usually you want to have at least 20 banelings to kill a planetary, and if they've got army nearby, probably even more than that. Generally speaking, you want to go in and blow it up when they don't have any support nearby. But yeah, definitely get a good control group system. You'll notice the biggest thing that I utilized again and again in this game was grabbing a big pack of army, chucking it on number 0, right? The later this game went, I always had something on 0. I wasn't selecting units off 0. It was just, you guys, Alt 0, go do a backstab. You guys, Alt 0, go do a backstab. Like, it was just constantly taking shit off of my control groups to go disrupt my opponent and clicking it into their base. And that was a absolute game changer. It changed the outcome of this game massively. Yeah, the Infestors didn't get that much of value versus a Terran that shoves their army around in a big ball a bit more, and especially someone who uses siege tanks, where usually the siege tank Marine Ball tries to get in a good position. Fungal's really good for slowing those pushes down and scaring them back, but this map's so big it's really hard to see where they're coming from. I was often surprised by the pushes, so the Infestors didn't get that much done. But you can see, like here, move into the mineral line, get the surround. I decided to just click the planetary. I could have just let the Lings kill it. Probably just blow a few banelings up on the SCVs so they can't repair, but worked out okay. Sauerkraut's a beast, guys. Played a fantastic game of StarCraft. I'm really impressed with Sauerkraut here. Had almost 300 APM. Good multitasking and played like a beast. GG, well played. All right, guys, let's go. This is going to be the final game of Diamond 1. We've got another Terran player. That last one was bloody insane. So ZVT, we are going to go hatch gas pool. Yep, super standard, no worries. Actually put guys on gas. We've been trying to prioritize that minerals a little bit more, guys. Now that we're higher level, we can customize that. Whereas back earlier, we were like, oh, just put 3 guys on gas, queue this guy back to minerals, make it normal. This looks like a very standard build, though. If you want to confirm the command center's there, you could just give him an extra command like that, and it's totally fine. He'll kind of run around a little bit. And there we go. Command center's about to go down, guys. There we go. It does go down, no worries. Overlord's going to just hang out over here, ready to sacrifice later. This guy's out here. Extra Overlord down here next to the Reaper ledge, no worries. And 16 on minerals. Third one needs to go on gas. Alright. 2 queens. We're going to build 4 Lings, but I accidentally built an extra drone. It is what it is. There we go. Extra 2 Lings on the way now. Alright guys, Lings go after the Reaper. If the Reaper attacks your drone, try to run it away and then just queue it back to the minerals. Put the 3rd hatchery down. We can also start pulling off gas right now. Make Ling speed. These guys on gas. And pull our Lings back. Looks like he killed a Zergling. Almost got the 2nd one. We should be okay. Inject, inject. Keep building drones. I actually built that hatchery a bit earlier than normal because I was distracted by the Reaper. But let's remember 3rd Queen and the Overlord, guys. We're very late on those, so let's remember to do it now rather than later. Just was a bit busy multitasking there. Alright, Reaper's being a bit annoying. No worries, no worries. Nurries, as we sometimes say down here. Nurries, mate. Build another Overlord at a time. Inject, inject. And more drones. And remember, guys, first lava inject, so let's shift click. Just click those on the gas. Easy peasy, yeah? Extra Overlord up here. So we've already been building quite a few extra Overlords, which is great. In about 3:30 to 4 minutes, we want to send that Overlord through on the sacrifice. I think we forgot to do that in our last game. Let's inject, inject. This one's a little bit slow. I'm building Freddie Mercury, but let's just add these queens to our injecting key after they get those down. our Freddie Mercury key, our defense key, I should say. Alright. And you know what, guys? I've been enjoying getting a third queen as well. We also see what appears to be a Hellion Banshee opening. I don't see a cloak, so it could technically be a battle cruiser. If so, it's the earliest battle cruiser I've ever seen. Building a few more overlords there. We know we're going to lose one, so I'm building like 3 overlords right now. We also saw Reacted Factory. We know there's going to be Hellions coming, so it's pretty important that we drone. We build some Zerglings. So we're going to send drones to the 3rd. We've already lost 2 that are there though. So there we go. We're going to build a big pack of Zerglings to go up to about 20 Zerglings all at once, guys, and then we can spread some creep out. Our Overlord can go over there. We can try and attack those guys. If they're just hanging near creep, we can do that. Inject, inject, inject. Alright guys, now second gas Baneling Nest. And remember, about 4:30 you want to build Spore Crawlers. No later than 4:45 if you see a Starport factory build. Even just seeing Hellions kind of tells you that this is what they're doing. Alright guys, if he runs in... Oh, he's got a Raven. Interesting. Spread some creep on that right. Oh, he tried to run in. We don't want to chase him. Build a few more drones for the main. Inject, inject, inject. A few more drones in general. This Overlord can push out. We need to see where he's coming from a bit ahead of time. And I want to go double macro hatch, guys, right? Double macro hatch, Evo chambers, all that good stuff. Whenever we see him poking in, move the queens to defend, okay? Alright, double hatchery, double Evo. Move the Zerglings so they're a bit closer. Try to focus the Raven if you can, guys. Inject, inject, inject. A few more guys there. Add all of these to our hotkeys. Get the lair started. And if we can get a 4th and a 5th, that'd be great. Where is he at now? Queen's over there. Come on. He's so annoying. This is really good pressure, guys. But notice we're getting damage done now. Alright, let's get 1-1 started. I'm building a lot of Zerglings. I'm going to try and send some Zerglings around and into his base. So I just sent 2 Zerglings around. Alright, I've built a big wave of Zerglings. We're going to build some more. Now, arguably... Okay, so I tried to click these in his base. We can't get in. I'm just trying to see what's going on, right? Is it Bio? Looks like Bio, right? Okay, cool. So what we can do is we can grab a big section of Zerglings, get those ready for a backstab on the natural. And since I've got a good amount of Ling Bane, I think we're okay to basically go into Infestors. Inject, inject, inject. Let's build some drones. So we're going to build a bunch of drones there, gases there, a bunch of drones there as well. And oh, he's already here? Oh, that I wasn't expecting. Okay. Oh, God. Okay. We're making a lot of Banelings. We don't have Bane speed making. These guys are in though, which is good. Split a few Lings into his 3rd. And these guys will get into the main as well, okay? Whew! Big backstab. Take a deep breath, guys. Inject, inject, inject. Oh, he's coming, he's coming. Okay, we gotta just go for it. Yeah, so remember what I did in that last game? We forced them to kind of YOLO and then take advantage of it. That's what we're trying to do here, but we don't have Bane speed. Oh! Oh! Okay, let's try and add all the queens to our hotkey. And let's try and group them up before we go. And go, 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 go. Inject. More Lings, more Lings, more Lings. Is it enough? Oh! Alright, guys, we're going to build 6 queens right now. So basically just like every hatchery is pumping queens. We're spreading creep. We didn't lose any drones. And we haven't gone for the Infestors yet. But we should basically be in a game-winning position right now. This is what was so impressive about Sauerkraut in that last game, was that they didn't just shove like that, and they just kept being like, no, I'm not gonna give you what you want, you know, I'm not gonna go and attack like that. And I was like, what? Every Terran pushes in here, but it just shows different players play differently. Baneling speed still hasn't started, guys. We're starting 2-2 and Baneling speed at the same time. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is we're gonna send a few Lings around the left just to backstab, and I'm gonna send just a few Lings around the right into the middle line just to see what's going on. Put some pressure on, okay? Inject, inject, inject. Build Lings, and let's make some Baney Banes. Spread creep there. I think we've got enough to chase that away. Okay, let's put some queens on our hotkeys, shall we? Okay, these guys are all on our defense key. And we're trying to just group those up. I'm not looking at my Zerglings. I don't know what they're doing, guys. Looks like they're killing some stuff, which is really good. But it's more important for me to fix the chaos right now. I've gone to 6 gas. Normally I only go 5 gas here, but that's okay. We can build 3 infestors. We also see the Raven here. Okay, so check this out. We can try to kill that guy. Building a few Overlords and more Zerglings while we wait. Die! Die! There we go. These guys can just fight that. Auto turrets are very fragile these days, remember? So let's queue up some injects here. We've got inject, inject, inject. Lots of lings on the way.
Mineral field depleted.
Got 2 creep tumors there. 1 tumor here, 1 tumor here. I need more tumors in the top right. Okay, what's this? Oh, top right, top right. Ah, ah. Try to save that tree. Alright, looks like we will save the hatchery. I think we can go counterattack. I think that was everything. We've got infestors. Let's inject, inject, inject. I think we did enough damage earlier with the backstab, but we should be able to just win this game. It's scary. The push was definitely very scary, but the power of Ling Bane when backstabbing is definitely something to behold. We're gonna drop some fungals on that drop. And he's getting my Baneling nest. Let's build another one down here. I'm just bringing everything home. I did a lot of damage on his side, but I feel like there's too much chaos, and I'm just like, ah. And remember, what do we do? If they keep dropping us, build spores. If they keep dropping us, build spores. Okay? Widow Mines. Let's get Overlord speed. That was very close to firing, guys. Okay. Okay, we got 3 Overseers on the army key. We're trying to spread a bit of creep. What is going on here? Oh my god, this sport. What are you doing? This guy's a mad dog. He's got Liberators coming in. Oh my lord. You're very annoying. This player knows how to play Terran, that's for sure. Alright guys, we're going to send a big attack to the left, make Banelings with it, and get it ready to go. We're still spreading creep. So let's right side, and then we can spread here. Spread here. Try and get some tumors up the middle. Try and take this high ground base as well. Whew. Okay. Let's rebuild the queen there. This queen there. Need a new queen there. Oh my gosh. Alright, we're going to make a ton of Banelings. I've only got 64 drones. I felt like I had more than that. But remember, we built all those spores, and I actually didn't rebuild all the drones that built them. Big mistake. So let's just transfer these workers around, guys. And try and get this. We also just built so many hatcheries, which is good for the long run. But if you're going to do that, make sure you actually build the drones for them. So we're going to build those 16 drones on the 4th base. Or in this case, it's the 5th base, because our 4th is already up over there. Alright. I think, guys, we can do it. We just got to make more Banes there. Another round of Banes here. And then we can attack 2 sides at once, and we should win the game with it. Inject, inject, inject. Our infestors should move forward to join our main army. Let's spread creep. I don't have any money, which is why I didn't produce after those injects. You might be wondering why. It's because I already spent all the money on Banelings, guys. And a landed Viking. Very annoying. Is this Bunny? Who am I playing against right now? Doing all these pro gamer moves. Alright, guys. So what we're going to do is these guys are going to run in here with the infestors. These guys are just going to A move, okay? A move. And we're just going to focus on the right army. I always make that decision ahead of time. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. Oh, spread, 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 spread. I don't know how many dudes they have. How many Widow Mines, of course. I throw the fungal, I run away. Alright, these guys are running away for sure. We're going to try and kill this. Kill this Widow Mine. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, good fungal. Alright, we're going to run away. These guys did some stuff, which is really good. Build more lings, build more lings. And we can kind of just spread some lings around, spread some lings around. You guys boom boom. Make boom boom. Boom 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 boom. Alright. Inject. Inject, inject. Let's do some Q'd injects, guys. Q, 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 Q. And not the letter Q, but you know, hold down shift and spam quick. Build more lings. Let's do that again, guys. That 2-prong. Alt 7. Send those around the left side. I keep saying Alt 8, but it's actually Alt 7. make some changelings. We can just click those all into the base. Maybe click one down there. Make more lings, make more banes, and then just go again, okay? Whoo! All right, we've got him where we need him. We can make a hive behind this if we want. And we can really start to smish, smash, smosh our way to victory. Now, if you can fungal them, they can't pick up in the medevacs while fungled, guys. Alright, so those other guys are going to attack the natural, and then these guys are going to go in. Notice we just, as long as you just pull those front guys forward, they shouldn't be getting any crazy hits on you, okay? And these guys have moved towards the main as well. We're looking around. Are there any problems, any fires to put out? No problems, no fires. We managed to get it there. Woo! Pretty good push by him, but often when a Terran is pushing really hard, they are a bit overcommitted. And let's just go back to the theory of this whole stage in the game, because I want to really highlight for you guys how I did start droning up towards the 5-gas infester just as his attack was coming, which is obviously a bit bad. But in general, because we normally sit at 54 drones, at this game, I'm at 52 right here because I built a ton of buildings, but about 54, right? 3 mineral lines, 2 gases. We get all these hatcheries up, all this amazing production. Problem. There's always this awkward choice of how long do I mass ling bane and how long before I tech up and add the gases. Now, what offsets the economic danger of doing that is setting up backstabs. Because if you're going to do economic damage to your opponent with your backstabs, like this, look, lings go across the side, get ready to hit him, you're not as worried about, oh, like what if he macros up to 3 full bases, takes a 4th, all this stuff. It's like, no, I can do nothing, just mass ling bang. Now, obviously, I didn't see this army move out. Bad map vision for me. This Hellion Raven did a really good job of controlling the map. So I'd queued 14 drones, and then this attack appeared at my base. Now, partially it's a small map, partially it's because he just did a good job earlier denying my lings with his Hellion, so I don't have any spotters out there. You could argue I should have an Overlord or something out the middle of the map to see this coming. But that is obviously very bad timing, and that made this much harder than it needed to be. And because I'm then panicking, I forgot that I didn't start Baneling speed. I was about to start it just a few seconds earlier, and then we never got to it, right? So that's a real problem. But in desperation, I click the lings in, and they do devastating, pretty much game-ending damage, right? Because these guys get in on top, and all you do, split a few lings into the mineral lines. If you deny the rally, you know they've got no army at home. A few lings there, a few lings into the main mineral line. I click them up here as well. And we do crazy damage, guys. What do we get? 10, 15? 15, 16 SCVs, but it's not just that. It's also, he's not mining, he's in chaos. Like, so this is a very, very, and it forces him to run on creep into banelings. And where the Lingbane Queen does a lot better. You can imagine if I had an extra 20, 30 Zerglings, it makes a big difference. So GG, well played. I think Diamond 1 is enough to make a Ring of Vision for the rotation of Hellions. Yeah, did we not have a Ring of Vision? Were we missing an Overlord somewhere? We've got a pretty good Ring of Vision. We've been teaching that from the start. Or is someone saying, Overlord Vision is so good, that's unfair? Can you check 8:30 when he loads into a medevac? I think the Viking killed a medevac. I think he might have shot it once. I'm not sure. No, they're all on full life. Maybe, yeah. I don't think so. Never mind. All good. That would have been funny if it did. Thank you, Will Never Baby, for the tier 1 sub. What's up, dude? But yeah, once we get established, remember, we just need a few infestors. Often I don't even make pathogen glands with this infestor style, guys. But going up to 5 gas, in this case I took a 6th one because I was just on autopilot. And just basically saying, cool, spread creep, keep taking up the hatcheries, keep setting up those 2-pronged Lingbane attacks. And also, on top of all that, spread your creep, spread your creep, keep taking new expansions. And if you get the room to, this game was very action-packed. You can see he didn't really have many workers on his 3rd because of the damage I'd done, but I'd taken a lot of damage. So I stayed on 66 drones, and I actually wrote down an exact example of this in the notes where I was like, hey, if your opponent goes ahead and keeps on attacking, right, then you might delay this big round of 16 drones, right? So I said, look, if you can go up to 79, 80 drones, really good to contest a 4th command center, 2nd factory, or like big macro Terran. But in a more action-packed game, you could probably stay 63 workers, which is what I'd be at if I didn't have the 6th gas, a lot longer. But if they are macroing really hard, you know, get those 16 extra drones, which is what I ended up building a bit later in this game, once I had a bit more control over what was happening. And that's something where it's not a strict moment in the game. Oh, when you 10 minutes, you should always drone 16 more workers. It's more a feeling of, hey, I don't feel like I've got drops in the back of my base. I've shut down all the drops. I did some more damage to him. I finally set up my economy again and started producing out of hatcheries, and my creep was going. I felt I had a creep tumor on every lane. You know, I was very urgent. Like I had to respread creep here because I didn't have tumors. And then he kills these tumors, and I'm like, got to respread these tumors as well. And you're going to see, when does that drone count come up, guys? I'm replacing my baneling nest. 11 drones here. So I start building drones, partially to replace some of the units I've lost because of the damage and all the spores I'm building. So I'm still only at about 70, just under that with all these spores. That was more to replace the drones that I'm building buildings with, because he's doing lib harass now, as well as drops everywhere. He's doing all these things, and once someone shows they're going to do all that stuff, I will invest in a lot of spore crawlers with this style. But when do we build those extra drones, guys? Notice at this point, he hasn't attacked me in the last minute or two. My creep's getting better. My map vision's great. His next harassers are getting shut down. They're not really doing anything. My creep's just blossoming out. I've just rebuilt all my queens, so I've got new injecting queens and all that, as well as creep queens, and then I build 16 drones. So it was only once I started to feel a bit more like, okay, I've got a bit of control, it's not as chaotic, and then I built those 16 drones, even while setting up an attack on the front. Now he gets... This is just a reminder that 1 or 2 bad Widowmines isn't the end of the world. This Widowmine already has 25 kills. This here is the GOAT. They took Maru's consciousness and uploaded it to that Widowmine. Yes, it just killed 35 Zerglings in that shot. It took itself to 60 kills before it died. Ah! That one gets 9. That one gets 5. I purposely wasn't doing super advanced spreading here. It happens. You're gonna take some boom boom sometimes. Don't stress out. As long as you keep producing, it's gonna be good. I actually really feel the emotional impact of seeing units getting blown up affects Zergs usually a lot more, because they stop spending their money and they start going, oh, I've got a micro better. But the answer is just make more stuff and try to set up a better system wherever you can to allow that to happen. You know, even though you take a few bad Widowmines, a lot of the fight can still go massively in your favor. And a few good Baneling hits, it's the same thing. 20 Banelings miss, 4 Banelings hit and kill 60 Marines, and it's game over in your favor. Yeah, it's massive. And then we just keep doing the 1-2 punch, because he's got Widowmines, guys. So now he's got to spread Widowmines everywhere, all over the map, rather than all in one position. That time we actually pulled some Lings forward to lure the Widowmine away. That Widowmine got 6 kills. This one doesn't quite fire because the units keep going out of range before it can fire. And you'll see that Widowmines, when they're unsupported on their own, are not that effective. It's only when they've got the Marauders and everything with them that they really smash. Orions played a very good game, and we won with something that you could argue is a little bit dirty. I think the advice for the Terran players in general who struggle with backstabs from silly, dirty Zerg players is to always try to put some sort of spotter out on that side if you can. Either a depot out here, there, or a Widowmine, or even a depot there, just to give you a few seconds of earlier warning. And likewise, if you're not that good at responding to these sort of things, you get caught out a lot, there is something else you can do, which is just make sure you're a little bit better at queuing up units. And usually you'll defend. Now, this was unfortunate for Orions, because Orions was pretty good at queuing units. The only thing that wasn't producing was tanks for a little bit, and yet still only had 4 or 5 Marines. If I happened to come in even 10, 20 seconds later, there could have been 10 or 12 Marines there, which would have automatically created a solid plug in the wall and blocked these Zerglings since they don't have banelings. No reaction required. But if you are in a bit of a dicey position, you can also just preemptively raise the depot wall. But I think overall, Orions played a really good game. And this was a really good example of a Terran who, when you backstab, shoves in and forces you to have your stuff together. And I actually got punished pretty hard. He did some really good in and out micro, some good stutter step with the Marines. Unfortunately, they moved towards the banelings there and took one baneling. Otherwise, they might have been able to kill me. Because, yes, I've got a lot of Zerglings producing out of all these hatcheries, but auto turrets come down. If there's like 8 more Marines here, plus the auto turrets, and he holds that, definitely this could have gone his way. So really well played by Orions. GG.